concept. You have a great concept. You guys are doing it, man. And it's an honor for me to just be, a small rock, man, in your mountain. I'm going to pop a top in your honor.
Mr. Doc Walker blessed us with his presence and knowledge.
We want to welcome in our next special guest, Haley Skarupa. She's a three-time world champion in women's ice hockey and most recently won Olympic gold with Team USA.
The Caps Stadium Series is definitely my favorite, obviously. I'm a huge Caps fan. I always have been. And to be there at that game with my teammates and for us to bring, our gold medals to there and share it with everyone in this area was really, really special for me. And just the support and it's been tremendous from everyone in this area, and you can feel that there at that game.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network.
That's what I'm drinking tonight.
Welcome to episode 373 of Sports on the Hill podcast. Hold on, it'd be good if I clicked all the right buttons. There we go. Now people can see us and hear us, which is both important. We got a big group tonight as we're celebrating the Caps making it to round two for the first time since 2018, and they won the Stanley Cup. So I thought I would wear my Stanley Cup shirt. I usually wear podcast merch every show, but for tonight, I will reminisce on the last time both the Oilers and the Caps made it to the second round. This is what happened. So we have a big show tonight. We're celebrating a lot of things. First thing we're celebrating is we just hit 900 followers on Twitch. So thank you so much to all of our support over there. I know that we have some friends that will be coming through tonight from Twitch. I've met fans of many different hockey teams through Twitch, and so it's been a lot of fun talking to them because I always share the videos on Facebook to all of our friends in the DMV area, and so it's a little bit different when you have people commenting from all over the world. We have a guest from Winnipeg hopefully later. We've got a guest who was born in Edmonton later to talk about the Oilers. We also have in about 20 minutes having Ryan, thateflatguy, who's a Hurricanes fan, coming on because I wanted to get his perspective too. I think it's an awesome opportunity. Not very many Caps podcasts can get Hurricane friends to join them and join the Lions Den, if you will. And in fact, we're just talking about Stewart, the Jets fan, who will be on in about 50 minutes. Happy affiliate anniversary. Thank you so much, Stewart. So he'll be coming in. Thank you, Carly, for 49 months. She literally has a founder's badge and has been supporting us from the beginning when we've been, well, actually, before we were even affiliate streamers here on Twitch. We streamed this podcast for about a year before we became an affiliate on here because sports podcasts aren't the super popular thing on this platform. It's mostly a gaming platform and music and all that sort of stuff. But I took a chance on it and we've had a lot of fun on it. Champ is also in chat. Welcome on in, Champ. We'll have him on towards the tail end of that second hour too. So yeah, lots to celebrate. We'll talk about the Caps. We only have one game to break down from last week. We'll talk about that first. We'll preview the Hurricane series. We'll then have Stewart come on. We'll talk about that crazy Jets finish. And so that'll be fun to talk to him about that. What a crazy game that was. And so then we'll also have Adrian come on about 15 minutes later to talk about the Oilers series, where I just can't believe that they knocked off the Kings 4 years in a row. And so that's wild into itself. So we'll have him coming into the fray and give his perspective. He is also a Caps fan too, but I don't have any other Oilers fans, so he's going on that segment for that. And so lots of fun stuff. We'll talk about the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. We'll have live look-ins to some of these games that are happening tonight. There is a game between Toronto and Florida going on live. There's also the Knicks are playing the Celtics. And this is the craziest thing. The Knicks were down 20 points 5 minutes ago, and now they are down 1 point.
Oof, wow.
So I just want to I know that we're in a hockey segment, but that is a crazy thing that I'm monitoring over there. And if they get close or win, we have a Knicks fan who wants to pop on and do a post game for that. So we'll throw him in, Scott, our Firestone Rocks Drums here on Twitch as well. So big show, talking about all sorts of playoffs. And then in hour 3, in a long time from now, we will talk about other DC sports things, including getting the draft in a couple of years, which is interesting. And also any other news coming out of baseball, soccer. We've got UFL football update, even though we played terribly in the game yesterday. But we will update on that as well. So lots to talk about. We are joined by Shayla Forrester, known affectionately as C4. We got Gil, the blue liner on point. And we got JenayaTalksCaps as well. So we are going to break it down. I want to start off by saying Gil and Jenaya had a wonderful podcast together to celebrate Jenaya hitting 100 podcasts, which congratulations.
Yes.
Them right there. So Gil and Jenaya, I'll let Jenaya talk about it since it's her podcast, and then I'll also have Gil talk about the latest episode of the Power Play Point podcast, which was also fantastic. I listened to both today. But Jenaya, how are you doing? And let people know about this 100th episode.
Yeah, I'm doing really well. The 100th episode was so much fun. I had Gil on, and we did just kind of more of like a conversational previewing the series against the Carolina Hurricanes. I thought we went pretty in depth. We went like an hour and 10 minutes, which is a lot longer than my episodes usually are. They're usually about a half hour because it's usually just me. But yeah, it was so great having Gil on, and like I said, we really went in depth, like breaking down the series and just areas that we thought that the Caps could kind of target and exploit against the Hurricanes, and some things that they would have to shore up on as well. So it was a really, really great episode. I encourage everybody to go check it out. Subscribe to the podcast if you like it. And of course, follow Gil and his podcast Power Play Point as well, as that's obviously why I choose to have him come on, is because he does such a great job on his show as well. So yeah, it was a lot of fun though for episode number 100, which I did not even realize that I was hitting until like 5 minutes before the show. So
that's the best sometimes.
That's awesome.
Like, I didn't know we were going to hit 900 followers today. I get to celebrate that. So it's kind of fun when those milestones hit, and you don't even really expect it. It literally happened 5 minutes before the show in the same sort of way. And so that's really exciting. I've always loved both of you guys, and I love that you did it on Zoom. Have you ever done one on Zoom before? I don't think I had seen one on Zoom, so that was kind of cool.
No, I hadn't. And actually, like I was late getting to the Zoom call, even though it's my own podcast. Like I had to text Gil and tell him like that I was going to be a little bit late because I was trying to figure out how to record it, because I'm not tech savvy like you are. So I was having a little bit of trouble because I have a Chromebook, and I found out like kind of last minute that you actually can't record off of Zoom onto a Chromebook. It has to be like a Mac or a PC or whatever, right? So I was trying to sort all of that out. But
how did you do it in the end? Now I'm curious. So
I used somebody else's Mac.
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
Had to get a different computer and do it on there. But yeah, we figured it out, and I got there eventually. And we had a really great episode. I guess I should tell people what the podcast is called. It's called JenayaTalksCaps.
Yeah, well, luckily it's beneath you, so at least you got that going.
In case you wanted to find it, it's always been like an audio only version. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of those, like any major podcast platform. But just recently, like the last 6 or 7 episodes, I started doing a video version as well, which is how Gil and I did this one as well. So that's available on YouTube under the same name.
I love it on YouTube, by the way. I mean, I personally always love video podcasts. It's why we have now shifted with season 10 to be video only, because I feel like at this point people can just like, you can close the tab or tab over to something else if you really want to just listen and not watch us. But I think it's exciting, and now we're in a day and age where we can do this. This is now the 5th season we've done visually, and I love being able to talk to people, look them in the face, have a conversation with them, versus just through a phone call, which I love. And I've come on Gil's show many times, doing the phone thing, and that's great too. But I just, there's something about the energy that comes from being able to talk face to face with a person, and we get to talk face to face with someone in Vancouver, which is pretty cool. That is, and all over the country. So yeah, definitely go check out the 100th episode. And if you ever want a podcast to go twice as long, you definitely have Gil on your show. And we always have a
half of their time is filled with
I don't think Gil, you and I have never done a show less than an hour, right?
But having Gil on it, but Gil is such insightful information and whatnot.
No, I love it. I'm busting his balls, but
of course.
But Gil and I could talk hours. I mean, we could do a 3-hour show about hockey. So it's true. It's actually kind of sad. Like, I've wanted to pick Gil's brain on the other series, and we've run long on every single one since we made the playoffs, that I haven't even gotten to talk like about any of the other series. So I'm excited that tonight we can, maybe at the tail end, if we can all stay up late enough, and to talk about some of these other crazy crazy series as well. But no, but Gil, I love your Power Play Point podcast from episode this week. I think Anna had some great insight. I do miss her tonight. I know that she's busy doing stuff with her daughter. But if you do want to hear her thoughts on the last two games and the wins, it was definitely such a different show than the previous week where you guys, where you had to leave it was, after the loss, and we had no idea the goalie we were going to have for the last two games, right? So
Yeah.
a lot changed over the next 24 hours after you recorded that. And so it was cool to get to hear your and Anna's thoughts post, both games and thoughts going into this Hurricane series, which will be crazy. If this doesn't go game 7, I've never been so sure of something, which probably means that it won't now, but like it has all the makings for that for sure. But definitely go check out the latest episode of the Power Play Point podcast. And then also C4 is joining us, and we've got so much stuff to talk about the Sakuram Off the Chains podcast. But definitely it's a wild time. Go check that out on YouTube. I'll do the C4 command as well here in chat. But it's a fun time. But let's get into the meat of it. We have only one game to really break down, which is why I could have the longest intro ever. And
I didn't even say anything.
Yes, I know.
I know. Impressive.
Oh my God, I'm clicking all the wrong buttons now. So Gil's got me all flustered. Gil, is there anything that you want to add about your episode? I'll let you do that while I set this up.
Well, it's admittedly kind of a bare bones breakdown. I kind of I think I exhausted myself doing Jenaya's show. So I kind of wanted to take a laid back approach on our own show with Anna. That was maybe by design, though, now that I think about it, because I think a lot of what's going to happen in this series is, for want of a stranger term, spiritual, emotional. So Anna is very, 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 very good at gauging things like that, as you will hear on this episode. So,
and if you love Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
There might be at least one reference to it in this episode. So
I've always wanted to do a May the 4th episode, and it fell on the right day. I had to do it. I'm sorry, but
I love it. I'm such a big Star Wars nerd, so I very much appreciated the intersection of Caps hockey and Star Wars. So, and if you too are a fan of both of those things, definitely check it out.
It was quite well done. Very well done, Gil. Very well done.
But yeah, I definitely enjoyed that part of it as well. So I would listen to Jenaya's first because it's a more in-depth analysis, and then go into Gil's if I'm doing the double podcast listen. That's what I did, and I enjoyed it that way. So as options going forward. I do want to say that Florida is on the power play. They've only got about 45 seconds left of it. They're up. They're down 3-1 in this game. I know that I've got a YouTube delay, so probably Gil's farther ahead than I am. I'm in the second period at 13-18, and then that Knicks game, it's a 2-point game now with 4:40 left in the fourth quarter. So very close game. Somewhere Scott Firestone Drums is sweating it out for sure. Let's get into the first goal by Alexander Ovechkin. I have to say, Tim is great luck. We talked about it on the last podcast. I told him I was going to invite him over. I invited him over for game 1, trying to rekindle some of that game 1 vibe. And immediately I was like, Tim, we never scored on a power play since you sat next to me. And here we are again. We have a power play. Do you think we can get it again? And immediately Ovechkin answers. And so that's, at least from my perspective, that I was happy to have Tim back in my man cave. But Jaco, what is your thoughts on this goal?
Absolutely great, classic Ovechkin goal. Quick story within a story here. My boss's boss went to this game. He had seats that were about 5 rows back from the glass.
Wow.
He was, as soon as they announced the power play, he was like, okay, get the camera ready. But it happened so fast that he never got a picture off because it was right off the draw. Literally, don't blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
And I think it shattered everything, shattered all expectations, even of us Caps fans here, which is, well, it plays out here. I mean, nothing to see here. Nothing much to call here, rather. Strome wins the draw. Ovi gets it. Case closed.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
that was
pretty,
beautiful.
pretty great. Jenaya, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, don't blink. No kidding. The Sportsnet feed up here, they actually like kind of missed the shot, like because it happened so fast off of the face-off. So we didn't even really see the puck go in the net because of the way that they had their camera angle. The crowd exploded, so we knew it went in, but we couldn't really see the actual puck going into the net because it happened so fast off of the face-off. But yeah, just amazing shot by Ovechkin. We've seen that so many times. I saw some Habs fans like blaming their goaltender for that one. I was like, what? Like, are you kidding me?
Well,
Greatest
never
goal
saw
scorer of
it.
all time. Yeah, absolutely leaning into one. So I don't know what you can do there. And yeah, great face-off win by Strome makes it happen. And Strome, 9 points in the first round. Crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the best ever first-round performances in Washington Capitals history. I think it's like top 5, right? Points in a round, in first round. So,
I think so, yeah.
But C4, what are some of your thoughts on this quick goal?
It was a dream come true for Marcus because every time, when it's actually Marcus was at the game. Wednesday night. I was going to go with it, but I was at a track meet, so I was getting the updates on my phone and listening on my phone. But yeah, classic Ovi off the draw. I mean, it was fantastic, and it's anytime Ovi's on the ice and there's a face off, Marcus and I are going Ovi off the draw, and it finally was Ovi off the draw. So we were like, yes.
It's pretty amazing. It's crazy for how many years it's been that way, right? It's just no one can stop it. They have nothing that they can do about it. So.
There's nothing you can do about that. And the energy in this game was so much better for me.
Yeah.
than
I feel like
that
goal just got us off on the right foot too. Like it was such a big goal because it just kind of like. Because everyone coming into the game, game 5, and they're up 3-1 in 2010 and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
and
it's
the media was kind of trying to speak that into existence, like the Habs comeback. And then for Ovechkin to start this game the way that he did and just score right off the bat, like it just set the tone for the entire rest of the game. I felt like
it's like they kind of picked up where they left off in game 4.
Yeah,
they had that momentum going in game 4 and they just kind of picked up where they left off and kept on going. And it was just fantastic.
Yeah, they got the lead and just never gave it up, added on.
Yeah. I literally had my phone. I kept every time when I wasn't in the middle of timing somebody, I had clicked on listen and I was listening every chance I got was at this track meet because, obviously I couldn't watch it, but oh my gosh, it was such a fun game. Even just to listen to it was just so much fun.
Toronto just took a 4-1 lead now.
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
So that's kind of crazy. And the Knicks are up 5 here with 3 minutes left. I just cannot believe this comeback here in this next game. But yeah, I'm just happy that we could start off on the right foot in a closeout game because I just watched Leafs try to do a closeout game and then just fall flat on their face, at home. And I was like, please don't let that happen to us, right? Like, is that nothing worse than going back to? I do not want to go back to Montreal.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so we earned the right to not have to, and you got to take advantage of that. And
not unless we can get several busloads of Caps fans to go out there and shut them up.
Yeah, I feel like that wouldn't have even worked. Those fans are so ravenous for these playoff games. It was just, it's wild. I'm just so happy that they were able to put together a really great start in this one, but and continuing the energy from that last game. And the fans were in it from the start. This kind of helped with that. And so it's really good to see because, man, I really did not want to go back to Montreal because, Jenaya,
no.
You saw it on TV. I was at Game 5 in 2010. I was behind the glass. It was literally the best seats I've ever had in my life. I was literally behind the goaltender, and I watched them halak us from the opposite side, right? So, I was behind our home,
That is awful.
The one Ovechkin goal.
I was in my first year university then, and I was living in the dorms. And there was a bunch of us, there was 50 people living on one floor, right, in the dormitories. And so Canada, everybody loves hockey, so everybody has a team. And there was a bunch of Capitals fans, but there was even more Montreal fans. And I swear I did not live that down like for the rest of the year and even going forward after that, because it was brutal.
It was so bad, and it was so tough to watch. And we only got one goal, and Ovechkin scored it. And there's a video of me slamming the glass, cheering him on, because I thought it was going to spark a comeback at the time. It did not. Spoiler alert. Anyway, so but like it's what a rough game. And I left so dejected, saying we're losing the next two. That we're losing this in 7. I knew it. I felt it right there. It's like. And it's not even like we had so much of a history of that at that point, but like I just felt it.
You could just feel it because of their goalie at the time, Halak. Like he was just like you needed.
I witnessed it in person. I said if he could do 2 more games like that, we're fucked. Like
you needed 100 pucks on him to get one past him. Like
he was something else. He was phenomenal. Halak.
It was crazy. All right, let's get into the second goal here. I'll let Gil take it away with it.
Okay, so Dubois starts the play, ring around the Rosie here, and back to Wilson, back to him. Nice seam pass from Dubois to find Chychrun, who pots it for the goal. And, when you get in this deer in the headlights here, he's laser focused. And, look, I was bored. I wasn't sure what to do for this one, so I kind of just made it up as I went along. So there you go.
He kind of looks like something out of the Marvel movie I watched a couple of days ago, but I love it.
Right? That's fantastic. I love it.
This is why you need to have the visuals about it.
Yeah.
The podcast. Jenaya, what were some of your thoughts on this magical man?
I thought it was a great goal, but not just the finish by Chychrun, but for me it was mostly the pass by Dubois. Like what an incredible pass. He draws everyone over to him, and then just like eyes in the back of his head, seeing eye pass all the way back across the other way, and gives Chychrun pretty much a wide open net to shoot at. Like there wasn't much I saw Habs fans complaining about their goaltender on that one too. And I'm like, what do you want the guy to do? Like it's just a perfect pass that goes all the way across the ice through everybody, all of your defenders, and right on the take for Chychrun, wide open net. So great goal and great pass by Dubois, who I thought was really good. Outside of, I know a lot of people talking about like, oh, he's not putting up enough points and this and that, but like he's playing against the other team's top line every night, right? Like he's matched up against that. In this series, he was matched up against the Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, that line every night. And for the most part, like 5-on-5, he shut them down. It was Montreal got pretty much all of their offense on the power play. So I thought he did a really, really, really good job defensively.
C4, any other thoughts on this one?
I love when Chychrun scores, and like Jenaya said, that pass from Dubois was just beautiful. But what I also liked about that play was you had McMichael and Wilson there ready to collect any rebound that came in, and I'm seeing that a lot more as the series goes on. You know, that we've got we've got more of a net front presence than we've had in recent games. So I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Yeah. Real quickly, I just have to give the scoring update here. The Knicks is 97, Boston Celtics 98 with 1 minute and 9 seconds left. And a big time 3 there by the Knicks gives them the 198 lead with 1:04 left. I got to cover the end of this. This is only the last minute.
Come on, Boston.
Yeah, so this is crazy.
You know, 1 minute and 4 seconds.
I know C4's a Boston fan. We got Carly in chat who's a big Boston fan. Ooh, big bucket inside, ties the game with 53 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. We'll do a little bit of a play-by-play. We're coming up just to pass center court. I think it's Brunson. I'm sorry. I have it split screen, so it's hard for me to
apologize. My phone is buzzing.
Sorry to go way off tangent here, but there's a major development in the hockey game. Toronto's goalie, Anthony Stolarz, had a bit of a collision in front of the net with a couple of Florida forwards, and now he is out. Joseph Wall is in.
So crazy.
Okay.
9:46. I've got 9:45, 9:46 of the second period. Toronto's on a power play, but now their backup is in because their starter, I'm imagining he had to go to concussion protocol.
Yeah, so it's weird because poor
that's
Dangle.
So weird. They're just showing it now. He like barely got touched, it looks like.
But Jenaya, Dangle called this. He says if there's an injury, they have to go to Wall. He feels more like that he's more capable than the backup from Florida. I was like, he kept on talking about it. I was like, and then sure enough,
It's
like,
a self-fulfilling prophecy.
oh my god!
Into existence.
Yeah. Anyway, Toronto power play. Yeah, minute 41 left. They're still up 4-1. But yeah, this is just a wild end to both of these games. It's a commercial break for the basketball, so we can continue on here with this Tom Wilson goal. Gil, I love when Tom Wilson gets in on the scoring, especially on the power play.
And you're going to love this one here. So Strome starts to play here from the corner, seam pass to Carlson. He gets it on net. It bounces back to him, and somehow it pinballs from him to Wilson, who is pretty much forgotten about in front of the crease, and he throws it in. And, yeah, I don't know why it shows Caulfield trying to sneak in there, but, yeah, Tom doing Tom things. And, yeah, I know, Jenaya. I know, Jenaya. I did the joke on your show, but it's a good joke, I thought. So
I thought it was fantastic.
I'm a generous guy. I love spreading the wealth.
I loved how, because I just finally got a chance, Robbie, to listen to your last episode, and I loved how Gil, right off the bat, you were like, well, I don't want to glorify the hit, and Robbie's like, no, I want to glorify the hit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's for sure. I have no qualms. If we have a video podcast, how do we not show that hit, right? So
I agree. Clean hit. Clean hit.
Well, so Marcus has been putting together summaries of the games with sound effects, and I think he's posted, I think, the first two games on the Caps Off Their Chain podcast YouTube channel. And the sound effect he has for actually what he's doing for game 3, or for that particular hit, is he's got a little clip from the movie Stand By Me where the kid says you want to see a dead body, and then he does the sound of a freight train running into, fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check those out, they're on the channel.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, so Florida was able to kill off the power play, so it's still a 4-1 in that one. And crazy enough, the Knicks played defense, and they stopped Boston in their tracks. It was a misfire on the shot. They got the rebound and called a timeout themselves with 5 seconds left. So the Knicks have a chance to win this in the Garden. Yeah, so I'm sorry, Carly. I'm sure it's a crazy time in your household right now. All right. Let's get to the last goal just real quickly, Gil, and then I want to switch screens so we can bring in our special guest in a moment to talk about this next series. But Gil, break down this empty net goal.
Okay, so the Hands team is out here, as I mentioned on our show. So Lane Hudson, he does Lane Hudson things. He does great things, but he kind of threw another pizza up the middle that Duhaime got and get over to McMichael, who passed it back to a breaking Duhaime, who headed toward the net and put it away for the goal. And since Duhaime's the doggy, we're going to be visited by our old friends Captain and Biscuit.
Nice. I love it. So
the doggy puts it away. So we'll be featuring them in this goal. And it's end of the series.
It was also a Nugget goal.
Yes, it was.
More Nuggets. Love it. So, Jenaya, what were your thoughts on being able to put them away?
Yeah, just I was so excited for not only to obviously get the empty net goal and seal the victory, but for Duhaime to get it as well, because I just felt like he was so huge in this series. Like he was just he's on the ice at the end of games, right? He's protecting the lead, and he got rewarded a couple times for it with a couple of empty net goals. Obviously, he got the massive goal in Montreal too to tie that game up immediately after that. That you want to see a dead body hit by Tom Wilson.
Right.
But I thought he was awesome in this series. So I was really happy to see him getting rewarded for it here. And like Gil said, it's Lane Hudson does so many great things, but there was a couple of times in this series, specifically when Montreal had the goaltender pulled for the extra attacker. He did it in game 4 in Montreal as well. Just kind of passed it right to Nick Dowd, and definitely a pizza there as well.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Pretty wild. I'm gonna stop the screen share so that way we can bring in more guests because I only have so much room on that screen. But we're gonna bring in Ryan here, and I'm just so excited that we get to have this rematch. Ryan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody.
Indeed.
To anybody who
hell, man?
celebrates.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to do it, I'm going to do it.
It's yeah. I'm mad at myself for not putting enough time into getting a margarita before getting to do it. But putting 2 kids to bed is enough to try to figure out before a stream.
Enough to make you want a margarita. At
Right,
times.
that's true. I could just do the shot of tequila. But anyway, oh,
Don't even
sorry.
have tequila.
Real quickly, this Boston game is 0.6 seconds. They throw it in and nothing, a buzzer, so it goes to overtime. The Knicks didn't score on that. So after being up 20 points, it's now going to overtime in that game. So we might get a visit from Scott Firestone Rocks Drums either in chat or in person. Pop in with a post game report if they can pull this out, because I invited him on if the Knicks are able to do that. So let's talk about. Ryan, can you briefly let people know about your series and what your thoughts are on your first round, since in case Caps fans didn't get to watch that series? I thought that you guys pretty much dominated except for in one game, but how did you kind of see it?
Yeah, I mean, it's playoff hockey, so even in like a dominant performance, if you will, there's still a lot of back and forth. Especially in Game 5, the series clincher. New Jersey went up 3-0 in the first period, and it was not looking great. And then, of course, the second period happened where the Canes pushed back and got a whole bunch of goals, and then it ended up being New Jersey taking the lead 4-3. Then they had to tie it again 4-4 and then win in overtime to make it 5-4, double overtime.
Yeah.
So I guess
I watched that game. It was a great game, by the way.
Yeah, it was a great.
Yeah, I saw the end of it. It was wild.
Yeah, so it's been kind of the way that it played out was about, I think, the way that a Hurricanes fan would expect. I mean, I think most people were aware the Devils were without Jack Hughes, which would have made things a lot more interesting. The big surprises that will be interesting to see how they play out in the Cap series was Freddie Anderson really being even better than when he finished the season. Was, and I think maybe still is, at the top in terms of save percentage, but of course he had a kind of injury scare. Not sure how serious it was. It seems like he's practicing and he's going to be back for this series. And then the other surprise was Andrei Svechnikov kind of turning it on. He had a hat trick in Game 4. One of those being an empty net goal, but still, a hat trick is a hat trick in the playoffs. And then in Game 5, he had a goal and he had I think 12 shot attempts. So he was just firing on all cylinders. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes with the Capitals, because I'm sure you remember he only got to play in the first 2 games in that series, and had a multi-goal performance in Game 1 where they lost. I don't know, he might have scored again in Game 2, but my memory is kind of foggy on that. So anyway, so those are the kind of the interesting things as far as looking ahead. But yeah, it's still a tough series against New Jersey. They put up a big fight, even though it was a 4-1 series. So, but not huge blowouts for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was really interesting. I really liked that last game. I got to watch parts of some of the earlier games, but I didn't really get to do it. There was multiple overtime games in that series. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, the one that New Jersey won was an overtime win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I remember it being close at times and things like that. Um, yeah, I mean the Devils were expected to be a pretty good team this year. So and they actually took a big step forward, and I thought that they played a really some sound hockey all season long. They were in the top three the whole year. Credit to them. And it's just such a weird situation to not see a Pittsburgh or a New York Rangers or
Yeah.
you wouldn't think that New Jersey would get that spot, but
By
they
weird, you mean awesome, right?
Yes, yes.
yes,
We
Yes.
can
they're
all
very
agree on that.
yes,
It's
yes,
weird in a good way.
yes, but just like in a legendary, never happened before kind of way,
Yeah.
So it's a strange thing for sure, but it's kind of I felt like we were destined to play you guys all season long. For me, like at all the games we played, all of them were very tight. It was 2-2 if people want to look back at the record in there, including two really interesting games towards the end of the season. So they played each other quite recently, and both games very tightly contested. The last one, the Capitals won in a shootout, right? So it wasn't like it went all the way to the distance, as I say. So quite a matchup for sure. And yeah, I mean. I think that of all the teams, Carolina almost matches up the best with us in the sense that you guys run a lot of lines. I think that Montreal never had a chance against the Capitals because they had like two good lines and two okay lines. And so over time, especially if you're taking the body, and it seemed like Montreal wanted that. Like they were like in it too. Like they were like trying to chirp in people's ears, which I felt like that was a mistake. Like they shouldn't have ever that was never going to work for them like long term because like we just kept on hitting the body over those first two games and they were so worn down. Even though they won game 3, I felt like they lost the war. Right? It's just like by attrition at that point, and then you lose your goalie. And I thought we were going to lose our goalie too, to be honest. And so obviously it was huge that our goalie came back. But I mean, Montreal's backup goalie was great too. I mean, he wasn't a slouch or anything like that. But I just felt like after time after time, that top line can only be put on the ice so many times. Like they were dominating early on and they had great possession, but they're just going to get tired. I think that they kind of wore themselves out. It'd be interesting since you guys can run the lines a lot more, 4 lines. It's going to be, I feel, a very different matchup for sure. Jenaya, what are some of your takeaways on the Hurricanes?
Yeah, I think exactly what you just said. Like it's two teams that are 4-line teams, so it'll be really interesting to see not only like how each team does with that, but also like what matchups each coach is looking for. I'm interested to see that. I think obviously, like when we're at home for the first 2 games, you're going to put the Pierre-Luc Dubois line against probably the Hurricanes top line, obviously, because they've done that all season, and PLD's been very, very successful with that. But yeah, I think it's 2 teams that are really, really deep. I do think what you said just now about Montreal and how they kind of were even instigating sometimes a lot of the physicality with the Caps. I do think that's a big mistake, and I think the Hurricanes would be wise to stay away from that because it's the old adage, right? You poke the bear, you don't want to poke the bear. And the Caps are so much better when they're playing that physical style of game. Like they want that. They want to be able to drag the other team into that. And so I think from like a Carolina point of view, they would be wise to kind of just stay away from that stuff as much as possible and just try to stick to hockey between the whistles, because I think that's what the Caps want for sure, is to kind of drag them into the mud the way that like a Florida Panthers team did last season.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I don't think that the Hurricanes are going to try to do that because honestly, they don't have a lot of big guys that I think would fight well in this situation. So like their key is speed, right? So like take as little hits as possible so that way you can continue to utilize the speed to your advantage if you're the Hurricanes for sure. I think that's where they killed us in our losses to them, is they just were skating circles around us in some of those games, to be totally honest, and especially game 3, if memory serves me correct, of the 4 this season. And so I think that's going to be different. Gil, what are some of your thoughts on that series?
Well, I do expect it to be physical in some sense because, it's the playoffs for one thing. But when I say physical, meaning you're going to see a lot of board battles. Some find that a bit boring, but if you're a Caps fan, you want to see that because that means they're keeping the play to the outside, which is what you want to do against this team, because they will run you into the ground if you let them. You thought Montreal was fast. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we got 30 seconds left in overtime here. The Knicks are up 3 now, 108 to 105 here. And the
Come on,
Knicks have
Boston.
7 seconds on the shot clock. And they put it up here and they miss it. Boston gets the rebound, 16 seconds left. Be interesting to see if they go for it or take a timeout. They're going to try to run it out, I think. We got 10 seconds left here. They're down 3. They got to put something up.
Take it out.
And
Timeout,
wow,
Boston.
4 seconds. They put it up and they miss it. Is it 3 seconds left? They call a foul? Oh my God. 3 free throws coming? Is that right? Oh my God. Okay, it was almost a turnover. Brown gets it. He sort of does a jab step. There's a foul that looks like it's on the ground before he goes up and shoots it, but continuation, he pushes through and I don't know. It's a tough call. A lot of hand checking and yeah, so he is going. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to shoot 3 here. Of course, they're going to a commercial break. Anyway, fine. But that's the NBA in a nutshell for you. All right. So, sorry. C4, do you have any quick thoughts on this series?
It's going to be a tough one. I mean, we tend to play chippy against each other, Carolina and the Caps. The last few games have been pretty chippy, and so what we need to do as Caps is like we did the last game against Montreal or in Montreal is not let that get into our heads and just focus on playing the game and not letting those distractions get in our heads. And, like Gil and Jenaya said, keep the game physical, try to keep them play our game, not their game. But yeah, you're right. The speed concerns me a bit, but I think if we keep it simple, we play our game and we do what we do best, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that home ice is going to be a huge advantage in this series. If you look at Carolina this season, they've definitely struggled a lot more when they've been away from home.
Yeah.
And
Carolina is hard to beat at home, has been this year.
Especially
and they're below 500 on the road, I believe.
Right, but way above, like one of the tops in the league at home, right?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty significant difference there. And so I think, especially with last change, becoming so important in the playoffs and figuring out, your matchups, I think, how we deploy, putting Protas, if we're going to keep him on the 4th line as a defensive line potentially, where we're going to match them up against, Carolina, it becomes really important. It'd be interesting to see if Ovechkin and Svechnikov get at it again, right? It's one of the only.
Oh yeah,
I think Svechnikov's gonna go for that again.
I think Svechnikov learned his lesson, but
that's still one of my favorite fights of all time. But anyway, just taking that chance was a gutsy move.
What do they call it? FAFO?
It was
FAFO, right? That's what Gen Z calls it.
Yeah.
FAFO.
Yeah.
F for on and find out.
F for on and find out.
For sure. Ryan, what are some of your thoughts?
It's interesting, like you bring up like the fighting and like the stuff that happens after the whistles. So there was actually a moment in the New Jersey series where, and the reason why Anderson got injured is because Timo Meyer basically went all the way in the crease and knocked him over, and it was kind of a weird situation where like they originally called like a oh my gosh, I think they called like a major on it, and then so they could review it, and then after the review they decided there was no goal turn interference at all. So it was kind of a weird dynamic there, but the team really just responded between the whistles. There wasn't anybody chasing after Timo Meier, which kind of surprised me, to be honest, because you just don't see that very often in playoff hockey when somebody kind of takes a run at the goalie. So I don't think people are going to get baited into that. And the thing with the Svechnikov and Ovechkin fight, it didn't just like materialize out of nowhere. Through the first 2 games, I could see that the Capitals were really looking to agitate Svechnikov. Like in the first 2 games, anytime they were close to him kind of behind the play, they were letting him know that they were there. And so especially I think he's when he's getting chippy and getting chirpy with Ovechkin, and Ovechkin is like, what do you want to do about it? From Russian to Russian, it's kind of like at that point for him, I think he was caught up in the moment and thinking, I have to.
He's also really young to be
have to do
exactly,
something.
Right? Yeah. So
Tom Wilson did a lot of the same mistakes, right? So,
right.
It's
I don't expect to see I don't expect to see anybody dropping the gloves. I mean, anything could happen. But the Hurricanes in general, that's the one thing I've seen throughout kind of their playoff experiences. I think especially after they got swept by Florida in 2023, they've kind of learned that they have to, maintain control over the things that they can control instead of just letting their emotions kind of dictate what's going on.
Right.
So we'll see.
Agreed.
We'll see. I mean, it still could bubble over because it's the playoffs, but I think it's less likely this time around.
It'll be interesting. It's still a Rod Brindamore coach team, so
that's true.
Anything can happen. With his.
I just think Carolina would be wise to stay out of that because
I think it's smart.
Yeah.
Because the big edge that the Caps have is their size and strength and physicality, right? The big edge that the Hurricanes have is their speed and forecheck. So I think it's going to be who is able to force their game more on the other team and who's going to be able to dictate which style of game we're going to play here.
Right.
I agree. I see that Adrian's in chat. I know that he loves 3 teams, the Capitals, the Toronto, and he also loves the Oilers. Yeah. So he's got 1 game on right now. Yeah. It's going pretty well, except for the goalie getting knocked out. They're up 4-1 here in the second intermission. But Adrian, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Good to see you guys. Hello. Yeah. Hi. So,
we just got a raid, I think. Fabi Martin just did a raid. So, so thank you for the raid over on Twitch. I really appreciate it. And welcome on Willie
35. What? Oh, my God. Good job, man.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that. But it's been a crazy thing. We'll definitely talk a little bit about the Oilers in a little while, but what are your thoughts on this Caps Hurricane series?
Oh my God. I'm excited, but I'm nervous. I see Ryan's got his Hurricanes drip on. He's doing a good job with that. So props to you, man, because I'm not gonna lie, I was wrapping up around a fortnight when I was getting in on Robbie's stream, and this is the shirt I found. This is a half shirt, and I've had this since high school. I was gonna use it as a curtain for my tiny window in my basement. So get that out of the way. I don't want y'all to be like, "Is that guy really wearing an Oilers shirt?" Yeah, half of a shirt, but still shirt, right? So, it's like we all were saying about the Hurricanes doing well at home. That's what I'm the most nervous about. But it could go either way, because if I recall correctly, a certain year of championship for the Capitals, which was glorious, was followed the following year by a first round exit by the aforementioned Hurricanes. So ever since then, I've been kind of oh man, I don't want to face them in the postseason. Not to mention, of course, I know this is 18 years ago, or sorry, 9 years ago, 2006, the Hurricanes beat Edmonton to get the Stanley Cup, which took me a while to get over. But Sam Ward, the goalie, was from Edmonton,
Yeah,
he was a
Alberta
stick
boy.
boy for the Oilers' glory days back in the 80s and 90s. So
Yeah.
like, you're welcome, Carolina. I got over it eventually. My brother, though, he still hates the Hurricanes to this day. And I'm like, they're fine. Like, don't hate him. He's like, no, I'm still hating him. All right, no. Up to you. But yeah, like they're a series I'm nervous about. I was also nervous about the Maple Leafs Florida series because they're the defending champions, right? But now I'm tuning in, and it's a shame about the goalie getting decked like that. But like, it seems to be going well, but you can never have a reliable lead these days. I mean, I thought the Blues were going to win last night against the Jets, but then like 1.6 seconds left, and that happened. I'm like, no.
That was crazy.
I have mixed feelings about that. That makes it an exciting game, but I was really hoping that the Jets were going to be out. Because,
Adrian, you and I have experienced that together as a Caps fan in this room against the Rangers, where we were counting down, and then the Rangers came back, and it reminded me so much of that.
The Joel Ward high stick. I still have PTSD over that.
Yes. Oh,
man,
God,
I just got that out of my head, man.
Yeah,
I gotta go book another therapist.
Exactly. So I feel you, because I watched a video today of a kid counting down. I was like, oh my God, it's literally the exact same moment that I experienced with the goddamn Rangers. And I feel for them.
But hey, there's some good closure though, because I know we've talked about it before, but the Capitals beating the Canadiens in the previous round was like a nice little follow-up to the 2010 Yaroslav Halak debacle that haunted Capitals and not just Capitals, but like DC sports fandom for years, man. Like that, it just felt like the curse was just like never going to die, and that was like the smoking gun right there. But like, luckily, we had a good streak a couple years ago, and this time last year, the Caps getting the first round exit, they just barely made it to the postseason because the Flyers tanked, and then they got swept by the Rangers, and no one was predicting the Capitals were going to do this well at the beginning of the season. Like, they're all watching Ovi because of the goal record and stuff, but like they didn't have any high hopes for them. But my God, like, it's been fantastic watching the Caps go from the perceived basement dwellers to the top in the East. And the thing I was going to say earlier is like why I want the Jets out is because if we were to have a hypothetical Caps-Jets finals, Jets would get more home games, right? Because they finished more like higher in the season, right? So I was really hoping the Blues could just make it slightly easier, but like it's so early to tell. I'm really, really impressed with this postseason. Like, these playoffs in the NHL this year have been just amazing. You have a lot of things going on.
It's a lot better than the NBA playoffs, with the exception of the game that I just watched. But like for the most part, it's been a lot of duds in the first round and in the NBA, and this has been so good in the NHL. It's funny that you were talking about the Jets, and a Jets fan just signed on into the Zoom call, so we can get his perspective of this crazy turnaround victory as well.
There a new existence. I mean, I love the Jets.
I think this might be the most boxes I've gotten on a podcast at once.
That's awesome.
Welcome.
Yeah, Stewart, welcome on in. I want to get your thoughts on the crazy finish and how you were feeling with 2 minutes remaining in that game, and then obviously going through a very thrilling double overtime game. Probably my favorite hockey game I've literally watched this entire postseason. But Stewart, how are you doing, and how was your blood pressure during that?
Oh my God. So, watching the game, everything was terrible up to the end of the second period. We were just, everything's like down, and we're all, texting each other. Oh, I'm not watching anymore of the freaking playoffs. I hate the NHL. That started happening. Right. And, I had a bit of faith, and I'm kicking myself because I was talking to my son, and I said, I'm thinking I'm going to go bet on the Jets. And he said, are you nuts? And I said, no, I know it's 3-1, but the Jets are going to pour it on in the third period for sure. Outshot them 15-4 in the third period, and I'm so mad I didn't bet on them because I think I could have got 25-1 halfway through the third period. $5 would have got me over $100, right? So I was ticked, but my blood pressure was through the roof. And the last 3 minutes, I thought, okay, when they pull the goalie, maybe we can get lucky and get a goal, right? Sure enough, we get a goal, but we get something that was even better, and not a lot of people noticed this. We had what was a goal that was called back, and that was the second goal of the year that was called, or the series that was called back for us, and it was frustrating because both times you could tell the puck went in the net, but the way the NHL works, whatever the ref calls on the ice, they stick with it, right? So all of the people of Winnipeg were like this.
That's awesome.
So we're all screaming. We're going, okay, it's twice in a series. How does this happen? And the last one was important too, because it would have tied us up with St. Louis, and instead it went the other way around. But the big thing that happened was when that puck didn't go in, we gained so much time resting our top 6 players. Nobody's mentioned it, nobody said anything, but it was at the perfect time, right? Because we pull the goalie, our top 6 players are on the ice, they're trying to score, they're going crazy, and I can't remember what time that happened. I think there was about a minute left when that happened. We got a full rest cycle. It took 9 minutes to play the last 3 minutes, and most of that was the refs trying to figure out if it was a goal or not. So now, a huge advantage for the Jets because we have 6 rested the best players on the ice, right? So that kind of skipped by a lot of people, but that ended up helping us, right? So, and then when that goal went,
I hadn't really thought about that, but it's a good point that you make. That
I'm surprised nobody's talking about it, because if you watch, you'd have to be a stupid Jets fan like me, but I saw Pionk go back to get a puck on an icing, and he was struggling, and that was just before the goal was called back. He was struggling to go back, so we would have to take Pionk off, which was our best defenseman left, because Morrissey was out injured, and that's another topic. So we're without Scheifele and Morrissey, and we couldn't live without Pionk on the ice. And I thought, he looks dead. He's not going to be able to play anymore. And then he got like a 3 or 4 minute break, and it was like the best thing that could have happened for the Jets. So yeah, it was a fun game. The overtime got crazy. My wife's about to start talking to me. She doesn't understand the concept that when you're on, it's just lost on her all the time. What's that?
Was I saying it?
No, why would you come in here and stare at me? So anyways, the Jets really poured it on it. It was pretty spectacular to watch it. And, like I said, the 15-4 shots in the third period, we outshot them. It was quite a lot. I think 11-4 in the first overtime. It was the Jets were playing well, but the second overtime, I got nervous because the game started evening up a bit, and both teams were dying. And it was like one of those moments where you go, it's just going to be a fluke goal now. It's not going to be skill, but it ended up being a pretty decent goal overall at the end. But yeah, it was kind of a big deal. Not kind of a big deal.
The time went by so fast in that overtime, especially the first one. Like, I was like, holy moly, where did that last 15 minutes go? And I get that there's barely any stoppages. There's no TV timeouts. There's the scrape at 10 minutes, and that's pretty much it. But, like, I felt that there was almost like a 15-minute period where there was no, stoppage at all.
I don't know what you all think of that, but I'm not a big fan that they don't have commercial breaks for an overtime. Those guys don't get a lot of breaks on the ice, and it just becomes a matter of survival. If we had a 5-period overtime like Pittsburgh and way back or whatever, I don't think we'd ever get to 5 periods because they were dead. So I want to show something kind of interesting. So they scored the overtime goal, and my business partner, we've been business partners for 40 years now, and he texted me before the game. He said, "You're not going to believe this. I last second tried to get tickets. I got 4 tickets, but not just 4 tickets. 4 tickets in the front row. You couldn't get tickets for that Jets game if your life depended on it, right?" He went last second and just typed it in. There was 4 tickets open. So maybe some kind of a family emergency or something for the people. But here, right after the last goal was scored in overtime, here's my business partner.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
and his family. He literally got 4 tickets, and that's where they celebrated the goal. So that's crazy. And that picture's from NHL.com. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, spectacular game. So it was the 207th game in the NHL of all of history. That was the 207th game. I'm from Winnipeg, so I'm biased a bit, but I still think that's one of the best overtimes, if not the best overtime I've ever seen. Because just not overtime, I should say Game 7. just for the Jets just to get to overtime was pretty cool, and then to win it, spectacular. So
I couldn't believe that the Jets had never had a home Game 7 in their in history, which that seems wild.
We've only had 2 games. Well, no, that's not true. We had home game 7s with the Jets version 1.
Oh, the version 1. So I guess that's a
yeah, but that's not our history, right? We lost that history to Phoenix or whatever.
Yeah, not the relocated Thrashers.
Yeah, exactly.
You get the Thrashers history, congrats. So
Yeah. But yeah, so it's but that was their second overtime of the Jets version 2, and they won both. Not overtime, 7th game, I should say, and they won both 7th games. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's cool. That makes more sense. I was like, they must have in the original got into a home game 7. So
I was so happy they won, honestly, because I think they were going to ship Connor Hellebuck off to Mars if they didn't win that game.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So game 1 and 2, where everyone's watching, we're all happy. We're going, oh yeah, we got these guys. We're going to win it. And I said to my friends, I said, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, we should play Comrie in the 3rd game or the 4th game, one or the other. If Hellebuck screws up, put Comrie in. Play Hellebuck at home. I don't know if you guys know this, but Hellebuck is 1-9 now on away games in the playoffs. Like 1-9. Wow. That's not even a stat. That's just stupidity. So I think we should be putting Comrie in. Comrie's a great goalie. He's an outstanding goalie. Put him in and let's see what happens, right? And just at least once, right? Or try him out. But no, we didn't.
I'm very familiar with this kind of goalie conversation as a Hurricanes fan.
Yes.
I've just never seen anything like it, where it's like a guy that's like going to have multiple Vezina trophies. And he's like, it's not even just the fact that he loses every game on the road. It's like his own personal stats. Like it's like his save percentage on the road is like 75%.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. I've never seen anything like, I can never remember a goalie that is so dominant in the regular season being that bad in the playoffs. It's crazy.
So if you go anywhere around Winnipeg right now and you get to talk about the Jets, inevitably someone in the conversation will say, well, if we win all our home games, because if we win all the home games, we win the Stanley Cup, right? So.
Oh my God. You guys have to do that 4 times though? That's brutal.
Yeah, that is just,
You give me 4 game 7s, I'll probably be in the hospital. Yeah, I would take it. Yeah. I don't know.
You would take it, but
yeah.
It's pretty crazy to think about, though. It was so weird for people that don't know. It's strange that the goalies that were at the end of the Four Nations tournament were the goalies in reverse. In this one, the U.S. team was the Canadians goalie and vice versa. And so it's funny that the one that won the Four Nations lost this game 7, right? And so it's just interesting to see how that ended up working out this year.
Hey, Four Nations matters more. Go Canada, go!
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty awesome that we honestly
I want to agree with you. I want to agree with you so much, but
yeah, but
I get the best of both worlds right now. So
yeah, exactly. So it's pretty funny that we have 2 people in Canada right now and a Canadian on this panel. So it's a truly split panel on the.
It's also we think that overtime went by so quickly because it's not our team. That's also why. Yeah. When it's your team, you're like, oh my God, this overtime's been going on for 4 days. This is taking forever.
You know what? I had the same thought when I was watching it. It's almost the end of the second overtime, when we scored, right? I couldn't believe how far we'd gotten. I thought that just like a minute before we scored. So yeah, it seemed to fly by to me. It seemed like it was just zipping by. And then again, my brain wasn't there anymore. I was, 5 periods later, I'm almost in tears watching this thing.
Yeah, I was so happy for you guys because I know you and obviously your daughter and so like I was just so excited for the Jets and just what a great opportunity, what a really cool special moment and game, just a wild game to watch. And so I guess it was over when you were down 3-0. I was like, what is this game's gonna suck now, like what is going on?
We're dead. Yeah. But the other part to that was the night before, spectacular game. Like it was another one that was I didn't even get a chance to see it. I was at a bachelor party, but yeah, I'd rather be watching the game, but everybody there wanted to be watching the game. So I'm sitting there announcing scores, and I went, "Oh, it's 2-0 for Colorado." Okay, this is a bachelor party in Winnipeg, so we're all thinking we want Colorado to lose, because if I had to pick a team between the two, I'd rather play Dallas, right? Because Colorado, they could be spectacular, and they've got a couple of superstars on there. So we're 3-0 against Dallas this year, so we're kind of happy for that. So I'm cheering for Dallas, but in the same breath, if the Jets lose, I want Colorado to win because we've got a couple of Canadians on there and Makar and McKinnon that I want to cheer for, right? So yeah. I had a hard time with it, but when the Dallas won, I thought, well, now the Jets have to win because then we at least have a decent team we can play next. So
Yeah, it is crazy to have all those goals and that turnaround and that comeback and to have the hat trick, and I don't know, it's just
that was a wild one too. Eh?
Yeah, that was
pretty
crazy.
spectacular. Yeah.
I feel bad for Landeskog because this was he came back after almost 3 years of not playing hockey, not being able to play, comes in for this playoff series, hoping to, and he played, 5 games? Yeah, game 3. Yeah, he came in game 3 when they were back in Colorado, and 5 games. And it's just like, oh my God, I just
feel sorry for him. You also have to feel sorry for the Colorado fans because Rantanen, he gets an ex-Colorado player, right? So
well, my friend Marcus, he and I do a podcast together. He lives with me.
Oh my God.
He's also a Colorado fan, and it was very, oh wow. It was it was
I know, Ryan, you said it in chat.
Not good. It was not good.
The Toronto is collapsing currently. They just had 2 goals scored on them.
You just get another one? Oh
yeah.
no.
It's 4-3.
It's 4-3 now.
4-3.
Oh, they're gonna blow it. Oh my goodness.
Oh geez. So
for all the Canadians,
nobody
for all the
chokes
Canadians, is anyone cheering for the Leafs mostly because they want to see Tkachuk lose after the coronation tournament?
Well, there's that.
Honestly, I just don't like Tkachuk in general. So
no,
who does?
I would rather see the Leafs advance, but I can't help it. It's just too much of a meme at this point.
It is a meme, but I am rooting for Toronto. So, I feel conflicted mostly because I feel for poor Steve Dangle. Like, in 18 years of doing the LFR, he only has 2 times that he's had a series, win. And that's brutal. 18 years of doing a podcast and only having 2 series.
I will say I think you guys have a different perspective down there than up here in Canada because with the media up here, everyone can't wait for the Leafs to be out because then you get to hear about the other teams that are in the playoffs.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, don't get me going on that.
There is that.
The Leafs always
the sooner the better, and it's usually pretty soon. So
it's kind of like the Lakers down, up there, because that's all they talk about with basketball.
Yeah.
So.
Well, after a Toronto game, they stay on for like an hour. The whole panel stays on for an hour talking about them. After the
popping
Jets
champagne and
after the Jets win, it's like, okay, have a good night, everyone. I'm not kidding. Nobody gives a shit about Winnipeg, but Toronto wins.
Truer words have never been spoken.
And then they have to analyze their losses like it's the worst thing that happened since 9/11 or something like that,
Oh my gosh.
I believe it though, because the media is pretty crazy. It kind of reminds me of the New York sports media here, and it seems very similar. So, and so 7 shots against Wall. He's made 5 saves now. So let's see how this ends up here.
That's Hellebuck Wade numbers.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, it's Wall and not Stolarz?
Stolarz got hurt.
Oh, that's right. Gotcha. Yeah. I haven't been watching.
Oh, and Toronto's on the power. Yep, Toronto just went on the power play.
Oh yeah. You're a hooker. Anyway, I had to. But anyway,
it's all.
Sam Bennett is.
You are so lucky your kids are in bed right now.
I know,
right?
Or are they? They're like behind the
hopefully. The melatonin gummies aren't working, then I'm in trouble. So they're on the power play here, 155. Also, there's an OKC versus Denver game going on. It's a 1-point game in that one, with OKC up 27-26 in that second NBA game of the night. So we shall see here. I mean, this is a really important time in this game for Toronto to hopefully try to score. because it's going to be difficult if they don't. I really feel like they're going to pour.
And there is lots of time left.
Yeah.
We had 5 power plays already. I just checked.
Wow.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's like what we had in the entire first round, no?
Yeah. That sounds about right. So yeah, my dad just wrote "Go Knicks," and Firestone Rocks Drums is very excited about that. So both my dad and Scott are both big Knicks fans. So Brad Marchand with 2 assists. Oh, that's brutal for Leafs.
I hate Marchand. Can't stand him.
When I
Even
saw he
Boston
got traded
fans
there
couldn't
of all
stand him.
places, I laughed my ass off. It's just like, you
I
thought
know,
you'd
that's
seen the last of me.
hysterical.
Hey, I liked him in the Four Nations.
Yes.
But Stewart laughs
huge
because
Boston fan, yeah.
yeah, he's a huge Boston fan, but now he can hate on Marchand. So
He can legit hate on Marchand.
yeah.
But
Well,
you know
even
what?
Boston fans hated on Marchand when he was in Boston.
Yeah,
So
I had troubles with him, but you know what? No matter how bad Marchand is, he's nowhere near as bad as Wilson on the Caps.
Yeah.
the one everyone loves to hate but still wants him on their team.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah,
Everybody wants-
it's their Tom Wilson, right? So
Everyone wants Tom Wilson.
That most
Yeah.
franchises would trade half their roster for. Yeah.
Exactly.
That guy.
yeah.
We'll keep him though. Thank you.
Yep. Like, do not lose him, please. Do not trade him away.
I wanted to tell Firestone Rocks Drums if he wants to jump on that Zoom call whenever, we will give him his 5-10 minutes to celebrate the Knicks, and then we'll go back to hockey talk. So I just didn't want him to think that that I didn't want to talk about that. So definitely jump on this call, and we can have even more boxes of people.
Yeah.
To continue this record-breaking number of
I
boxes.
know. Let's see. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get this gallery view here. There we go. Now I can see everybody.
There you go.
Hey.
So, but yeah, it's been a fun night. If you're just tuning in with us, we are celebrating 4 years of affiliate, which is awesome. We're celebrating 900 followers, which I really appreciate, and celebrating getting to the second round for the first time since 2018. So, it's a big night for us here, and thank you everyone for tuning in and being a part of this conversation. It's always fun to talk about second round hockey, and I'm excited for Adrian because he's a fan of the Oilers as well. So I do want to let Adrian have his moment talking about that series because beating the Kings 4 years in a row, that's quite an impressive feat. And I know that Davey is eating a sandwich somewhere is very upset.
Yeah, sorry. I hope he needs all the
sandwich.
sandwiches to help.
Yeah.
With that anguish, yeah. LA totally hates us now. It's just like, as soon as I saw the lineup, I was like, again? Like, this must be an error. Like, come on, I'm talking about 2025. Why do they have last year's Ross? Oh, it's Los Angeles again. And we had to beat them again. And that game one, comeback, and then LA got the edge and then got the win there. I was like, okay, that's impressive, but it's not over yet. And then they had a dominant game 2, and I thought they were going to win game 3, and I was like, okay, you got to give it props to the Kings. Like, they had they've been really eager to beat Edmonton finally for years now. And then the third, game 3, when we had that, lackadaisical kind of oops, oh, hey, look, Edmonton got a goal. And then it was just a 1-goal difference. And then Edmonton pulled that, magic rabbit out of the hat and got the, extra attacker by pulling the goalie and tying it up and then winning it in overtime. And then that was the beginning of the end right there, because Edmonton won every game after that to win 4 in a row.
It's funny. I was just talking the other day about that one play seemed to change the series, because after that, Los Angeles just they did nothing for the rest of the series. They were awful.
Yeah, I'm in a
Facebook
Messenger chat group with my cousins up in Edmonton and in other parts of Canada, and I kept saying it was that moment that really changed the direction. If Edmonton did not get that whatever nothing burger looking goal to make it within 1, it probably would have gone Los Angeles' way, because it's really hard to come back from a 3-game deficit to do the reverse sweep. So,
but that was the one where like they decided to question the goal and then it didn't work and they got a power play and they scored right afterwards, right?
Yeah,
so they should have just let it go. Like I think that
there was no reason to complain about it. There was no reason other than going for a long shot, and it was not the right time to do it. It was foolish.
Yeah, they scored like 10 seconds later. Like it was wild.
Yeah, it was a good series. Los Angeles, like you could really hear the hatred in the crowd in Los Angeles. They were chirping Edmonton's goalies' names all the time, like nonstop. Like I had to watch those games on mute when it was in Los Angeles. Like I couldn't stand listening to them just chirping that name over and over and over again. Like, okay, I get it, you hate it. So it was remarkable. I'm not sure how to feel about Edmonton's next opponent, the Golden Knights. I feel like there's a lot of familiar foes, my favorites here, because you know what I'm saying. Like the Capitals had to beat the Golden Knights in 2018 to win the Stanley Cup, and now that's who Edmonton's facing. And then who are the my other favorites in the East are the Caps and the Leafs, and they're facing the guys who beat Edmonton last year. Right now, I'm watching it, and the Capitals have to fight the team that beat my beloved Oilers 19 years ago, which I totally got over, and I definitely don't need to Rich Paul. Yeah, I'm so happy for Carolina. They're a great bunch. Ryan's awesome. He's to my left. Can we do like a high five, maybe?
No, it's fine. On my screen, it's the other way. Yeah, there you go. No. Ryan was right the first time. There
it is.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. See, we're fine. We're fine. Yeah. Plus, like those post-game celebrations that Carolina does, like that one with like Evander Holyfield, and like they recreated Duck Hunt from like Nintendo and stuff. Like, dude, that's legit, man. I'm always about giving credit where credit is due. Okay. Even if it's with teams I'm not super duper happy about. Even if it's like the Calgary Flames, even if it's the Pittsburgh Penguins, even if it's the Philadelphia Flyers, like, I think it's great for the sport in general, for these things. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're all enjoying, right? That's what we're talking about. It's just like, what flavor of victory do you want? Last year was Florida Panther flavored. Yum. Not really though. Like, no, I wasn't happy about that. And like, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, nitpicky guy. Sometimes when I try not to do it too much because like it drives me nuts. But when I want to do it against other people that annoy me, it works out great. So like with Florida, it's like, oh hey, you won the Stanley Cup. Oh, you didn't get a complete set though, did you? What are you missing? Oh yeah, the MVP, the Conn Smythe. Yeah, you didn't get all three. You're supposed to get the conference trophy. You're supposed to get the championship Stanley Cup trophy, and you're supposed to get the MVP, the clean sweep. Okay, I saw Ovi hold that thing. 6 years ago? Yeah, that was glorious. He was really, really drunk when he was holding it too. So it was a fantastic celebration. Yeah. So it's like, oh, too bad, Florida. Too bad. So hopefully that'll annoy some Florida Panthers fans that are just chirping a little too hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like like a 10, go down to like a 7. Just calm down a bit. Like,
wow. How is this not called though? He took his helmet off. Was that called or not? Like, cause I think they went to commercial break, but it wasn't. There was.
I had to not watch it.
Took out the head of the Toronto player there, right?
Took off his head.
Toronto's on the power play.
Oh my God. They're giving him a 6th power play.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yep, they're on the power play.
Yeah. So
they're just increasing the chances that they're gonna get beat by a shorty by doing this.
Good enough.
5 right now.
Curse continues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that'd be awful, but glorious, but terrible. But yeah. Look, I respect Toronto. I'd say they're my 3rd favorite. They're my 2nd favorite in the East. They're my favorite of the original 6. So they have an illustrious history. And I get like the hate in my fellow Canadian brethren's.
They're number enjoyment. They're number 64 on my list.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. It's like they get all the attention, they get all the media coverage, and they got the big.
Well, it's just every year is their year, right? For the last
58
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just no better example of the Peanuts cartoon coming to life. You could just have Lucy holding the football. It's like
Right.
Stanley Cup,
Yeah.
second round and
Our year,
pulling it
nope.
away
Our
from
year,
them
nope.
every
Our year,
single
nope.
year. Yeah.
this year and the last year, but yeah.
It's like I'm very concerned and like I'm okay if Winnipeg wins it all, that's great. If Edmonton wins it all, I'd be thrilled. Like I'm just thinking like who is going to be if it ever will happen. Maybe it will never ever happen. Maybe it'll stay this way forever and ever. Amen. But like Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup championship since 1993. I'm like, who is going to be that wonderful team that will break the curse and finally get the cup in its home after 32 years? So all this,
this is year number.
It's like a lot of pressure, right? It's not just winning the Stanley Cup. It's like breaking a nationwide curse for like the nation's most beloved game. So it's like I feel like that carries a bit of weight with it as well. So I feel like that's like an extra motivation for the teams north of the border to go all the way. So like
there's a level of comedy to the fact that Canada lives for hockey. We win all the world championships and everything, right? And then comes the Stanley Cup, 32 years without it. It's like,
exactly. I keep telling people, man, like Tim Hortons, you can go get a cup of coffee and for just $1 more, you can get a pack of hockey cards. Why don't they have that here in the U.S.? They have the right amount of obsession with hockey, which is a ton. And that's what needs to happen here. Oh, man, I don't go to Canada often enough.
And to make it even funnier is like the state of Florida has seen the Stanley Cup more often than any other place.
Oh my
God! The farthest away from
in recent,
Canada.
Yeah, you're right.
All the guys.
And how bad Florida was for so long in the Southeast Division, right? And then
Florida and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and
I'm counting Tampa Bay with their championships. The bubble hockey tournament.
Yeah.
Great times.
In Edmonton.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild for sure.
Starting in 2004 when they beat the Flames, and then there was the lockout next year, like in 2005. God, I sound old, but yeah, like I remember it was bummed out.
You sound old. I watched Bobby Orr and Bobby Hull live. Okay.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
That is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm jealous. So all right, we got Toronto's on the power play still. 45 seconds left of it. They're up 1 goal still, 4-3, with 8:33 left in the third here. So we'll see what happens here.
Our old buddy Pacioretty missed a wide open net a few minutes ago.
Oh,
same old Patch.
Pacioretty doing Pacioretty things, right?
Yeah.
Pacioretty, more like Mr. Netty, am I right? Please don't make me Pacioretty for walking this. You think you're great, yeah.
Yeah, he can't be.
Nice last name, that's all I'm saying. That's all.
Oh my God, is he lucky that didn't just go the other way? Oh my God, Marner just turned the puck over right at the blue line, and it was almost like a 2-on-0 shorthanded.
Yeah.
Robbie, I have to run. I have to go watch my son play soccer. Yep, he's got 2 soccer games starting at 10 o'clock here. So
nice.
That's wild.
Oh, have fun.
All right,
so, good fun, guys.
Thank you for giving us the Jets perspective, and best of luck the next round.
I need you all to keep cheering the Jets on because it's working. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, you definitely got my vote. I can't stand Dallas.
Yeah, I do not like
Relatives
Dallas.
down there think that team is the cock of the walk. So go Jets.
Yeah, I don't want to see any more Dallas.
Yeah, I'm done with Dallas.
Have a great night, all.
Hey, Stu.
Bye, Stuart. Thank you.
Stuart.
All right, I'm going to do the Stewart command one more time. There, he's got his daughter, Jillian, and so they have a great show over there. It's funny, I think that he left, but it's still frozen on my screen.
Yeah, like he should just leave it like that.
Yeah.
He's at the ghost of Stewart.
It's frozen.
Do you think I should invest in this company?
Oh, there he goes.
I agree. I love your enthusiasm.
Florida
Stewart.
killed the penalty.
Oh, they did? Yeah. Oh, my God. All right,
Oh, for 6. That's not going to bite you.
It's still a 1 goal lead.
I only have the app. I can't. So. I'm just sort of following on here.
That's funny. All right, Scott. So if you turn on your camera, and Mike, we can bring you in to talk a little bit of basketball if you want. I see that you've made it in. I know that we were having some technical difficulties, so hopefully he can hear me on that.
I'm trying to figure out how to put on my camera. For some reason, I don't see the option to turn it
try
on.
swiping, and then there'll be a little camera icon. Like swipe to the side, or one of them.
Swiping. I did see like where I was able to put myself on, but then
That just went away.
oh here, wait, I touched this. Okay, yeah. So now I see myself.
Ooh.
But underneath it says like none, and then it says blur.
Click none. I think that's asking you about your background. I think if you click that, click none, and then you can click OK to accept it.
I click none. It's on none. Or add. I don't know what to do here.
Just put Stewart's smiling face where
Okay.
Scott's face should be.
We could just have the voice of Scott, the ethereal, NBA.
It says it has permission to my camera. Like I'm in settings right now. It says it has permission.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
It's fine. We'll just talk to you. It'd be like an old school podcast, first time caller, but you're not. You've been on our show before. In fact, you've talked hockey with us as a Rangers fan in the past. But we were talking about the Knicks tonight. That was a crazy comeback. They were down 20 in the third. I thought it was over. I even messaged you, I guess it's over. And then 5 minutes later, it was like an 8-point game. I was like, well, maybe not. And so Scott, walk us through. I think we just lost your mic. Okay, well, now I don't know if he can talk.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's
all right. So, Scott, let us know some of your thoughts on how you were feeling in the third, and then obviously getting it to overtime and then the big win.
Well, obviously, I mean, like I thought they were battling in the beginning, and then going into halftime, I was thinking, all right, they're not going to win. But and then of course, to start off the third, they were starting, they were battling a little bit, but once they fell to 20, I thought we were done. And then that like typical Knicks, that's what they do. Next thing you know, they're just like they're crawling back. It's hard for me. I don't have I don't have a network to watch to recap the game, and so it's hard for me to like remember exactly like all the things that happened, to get them back. But I do remember thinking, hey, if they could get back to single digits by the end of the third quarter, they're right back in this thing. That's a lot of game left, and that's exactly what they did. And then of course Brunson down the whole end of the fourth, knocking down those threes. It was just like Bridges played some huge part. OG was great. I mean, OG was, oh my God, it was amazing tonight. The Knicks, that's how the Knicks are. Like that's just how they play. It's always like the hard road. Like they never, even when like they start taking the lead and they win like against the Pistons at Game 6. Like they had two times where they could have just kind of like took the lead, took the game, and took it. And that's it. Like but they don't do that. It's just like, so they're gritty. And that's I think what New York loves about him, and of course I love about him, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, as you're talking about the two big guys, they both got 29 points. One, with OG was 6 for 11 from three, and Brunson was 5 for 9 for three. Just some remarkable shooting from the two of them to really get them back into this game and take a huge victory to steal one in Boston like this. And so Toronto did just score here to be able to give themselves a little bit more padding. And oh my goodness, the stream scribe is doing all these bits in chat. So welcome.
It's nice.
Hey,
it's Paulo.
Yeah, well, thank you, Paulo. I appreciate.
So wait a minute. We got a hype train going. We should have to get a hype train going for
No, well, I know, but I appreciate that. My dad said Celtics set a record for missed 3-point shots. And well, thank you for the bits, Firestone Rocks Drums. I appreciate that as well. And yeah, I appreciate everyone for tuning in and being a part of this show tonight. We've had so many awesome guests and people in this roundtable. But yeah, Scott, I'm just so excited for you guys. I know a lot of Knicks fans, really kind of counted themselves out of the series, and getting a Game 1 win like this gets you, right into it. What are your thoughts going into Game 2?
We spoke before this, so you know what my prediction was, right? Did you tell everybody what my prediction was?
I did not. I'll let you tell everybody.
So my prediction was basically Celtics in 5. Even a couple of my friends like, nah, it'd be Celtics in 6. Like I'm too rough on them. But I mean, look, I still don't think that they're going to be able to win 4 games against this team, But who knows? It doesn't mean I'm not going to root and hope and pray and and scream and yell and and jump up and down if they win. Like, of course, I'm going to do all that. So, but what do I think is going to happen? I think maybe to be Celtics in 6.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. Now I think that anything's possible. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes from here. And thank you so much for the hype train. I really appreciate it from both the stream scribe here and our ethereal voice is bidding in chat. So I appreciate it.
Yes, I get that level up though. Level's too high, right?
Well,
I just hit buttons. I don't know what I'm doing with that.
Hit the buttons.
I appreciate that. So we've got 5:23 left. We got Toronto up 5-3 in that game. OKC is up 54-41 now, opening up a little bit over the Denver Nuggets there, now 55-41 here in the second quarter. So I appreciate everyone for staying up late and joining us to talk about some basketball and some hockey. Stewart, not Stewart. Sorry, Scott. We got all the S's names. So Scott, what are you doing a stream tomorrow? And then are you?
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow night. Do my usual thing.
Nice. So if people don't know, Firestone Rocks Drums is a great drummer. I was able to help build out his OBS setup where you get all this camera angles and you can watch him drum from all these different angles. He drums to lots of different great music, including his favorite band, Rush. So I know that a bunch of people in chat here are fans of Rush. So you definitely go check him out as well. And we got bots joining us on Kick, fun. People everywhere. But definitely go check out Firestone Rocks Drums for sure. He will stream tomorrow and then also on Thursday. And which one's the night one? Which one's the afternoon one? It's Thursdays in the afternoon.
Yeah. Tuesday night I'm kind of chill. Thursday afternoon I'm usually like an angry old man because I'm just getting off. So
yeah,
it's always fun. Always fun.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Tune in, damn it. Tune in.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for giving us a Knicks perspective. I challenged him if they won to come on, and now we know we can even have callers on the show. And
I'll fix this camera thing. I really don't know why. I don't get it. But we'll figure it out.
You and I can talk offline. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Knicks will continue to win, and then you'll have to keep coming back. So.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
There we go.
Yeah. Then you guys could say to me, you said Knicks in 5 and Knicks in 6, and meanwhile it wound up being Knicks in. I mean, not that I said Knicks, I said Celtics. Sorry.
Right.
But then you're gonna turn around and be like, the Knicks 1-7.
Right. There you go.
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again.
Good luck for your teams too, guys.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Guys. Right.
It's gonna be hard as a Rangers fan to say to us, but
not at all. As a sports fan, I get it. So my team's not in it. Why would I possibly want to wish ill on your venture and your fun? Like that's. Man, it's
that's very good of you because not all Rangers fans and not all Penguins fans feel that way. So
especially not after watching the Islanders get the number 1 pick tonight.
Well, that's that's a good thing.
See, there you go.
I think so. The Islanders, man, my God, that team's they've been lost for years. Anyway, that's a whole other topic.
Sounds good. All right.
Peace and
Well, I
love,
appreciate
everybody.
you. And congrats on the new coach for the Rangers as well. So we'll see.
I didn't even know about it.
You got the old Penguins coach.
I got Yankees and Knicks. That's all I care about right now. I have no idea what's going on in the Ranger world.
Well, to break the news for the people who don't know, Scott, you got Sullivan, who was the Penguins coach for years, and arguably not the reason why they were doing badly. So I think you definitely got a better coach in him than who your last coach was. Which
is he a winner?
Yeah, I mean he was for years with at least he won some cups with Crosby.
2 cups.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The resume right there.
All right. Yeah, I'm not. You guys know, I root for the Rangers, but I don't know them like the way I know the Knicks. Like the Knicks, I know like what they do. Like I know what Josh Hart does and how he gets those offensive rebounds and I totally follow the game all year. Rangers, once they get to the playoffs, that's when I start watching. Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of like Ryan's uncle. As I talked to him about being a Hurricanes fan. So.
Well, it's just honesty, like Billy Joel says. So
right.
Yeah. He used to pay a lot more attention because he used to have season tickets, but since he stopped going to the games, he doesn't do that as much. He doesn't watch as much.
Season tickets. That'd be nice. All right, guys, have a good night. Thank you so much, Robbie, for having me on.
Of course, happy to have you.
I'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care.
Later.
All right, sounds good. Well, I just want to quickly go through just to see if there's any of the other series that we want to break down. I think we've kind of gone through them all, but I'll just get each one of your guys' thoughts overall, starting with the
Toronto just scored, or Florida just scored again. So it's now a one-goal game.
Florida had the empty net.
Wow, dude, it's not gonna stop.
It's not gonna stop.
Yeah, and Florida has the empty net. So
all right, before this,
Lordy.
Yeah. All right, Adrian, what do you think is going to happen in this Toronto-Florida series? Do you think Toronto is going to pull it out, or you think?
I can't say anything, man. It's going to be a jinx, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be bad news.
They're probably going to win this game, but watching this, there's no way they beat Florida. There's no way. They had a 3-goal lead twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look good. Gil, what are your thoughts on this series?
I can't see Toronto getting past Florida, but good news for Leafs fans, it's not going to be a total collapse like in past years. I don't think Craig Berube is going to let that happen. But I think Florida's eventually going to get past them and say 6 or 7 games.
Ryan, what are your thoughts?
I mean, you've just got Kachuk, you've got Marchand, you've got Ekblad, you've got. I mean, Florida's just always has looked. I've told you before the playoffs started that it's just it kind of is is anybody going to get past Florida still? I think. It's not any knock on the Leafs. I just think Florida is still the team to beat, and if I was betting, I would still put it on Florida for sure.
C4, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think all along I had Florida going at least this far. I think actually I had the Caps and Florida's in the conference final, conference final. So yeah, I don't think Toronto is going to give up without a fight, but I think it's going to go at least 6, but it wouldn't shock me if it went only 4 or 5.
Sweep, yeah.
But I think Florida's going to pull this one off.
Don't blow it, Toronto.
Don't
blow it.
But I really hope Toronto doesn't put up. I hope Toronto doesn't give up without a fight. I'm saying there's a minute 20 left.
Lose at the same time. Yeah.
There was a big save right there that Oh God! Watching
Yeah,
the
the app
Florida.
says there's a minute 20 left, so I don't know, but it's
I
not been
almost
up
want
in
to
a
have
minute.
like a screen of Steve Dangle's reaction and like embed that live right now because he's on YouTube. Just because.
Oh my gosh.
And his heart monitor,
Oh my God.
heartbeat,
Yeah. Oh, and yep, Florida's got the empty net again.
I'm clearly behind you guys, but the Sportsnet feed just showed a Leafs fan in the crowd, like literally almost in tears.
Believe it.
Anticipation.
I absolutely believe that. So it's 6-on-5 right now.
Try to score in the empty net, unlike the Blues.
The app says less than a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
Oh,
50.
you missed it.
You missed it.
Oh, he missed the empty net.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, they missed the empty net.
That's in the corner. Big hit.
Yeah, Gil's
behind the play.
Oh, you're
All right,
even
Gil, give
further
us
than
a
me.
play-by-play.
Yeah. Gil's gonna do play-by-play.
Florida recovers. Who is that?
How much time are you guys
I think
got?
that's Bennett.
Yeah, Gil, how much time's left?
30
For me,
seconds.
30 seconds for me.
I got like 55. I'm
Okay,
way
so they're in the corner. It's like Barkov in the
Yeah, the app
corner.
says
Now back to the
49.
point.
Get it
Seth
out.
Jones with a
Get it
shot.
out.
Didn't make it to net. Jones back to the point again. Verhaeghe a shot. Didn't make it to net. Toronto really slow at clearing it. Finally clears it. They gain the zone again. Let him walk right in. Lose it again. You got
think we
2
got it.
seconds and
Yeah.
one. All over.
Yeah.
So they held on to win.
They hang on.
Job.
I'm with Jenaya.
Wow.
If you're Toronto,
easy.
you're not super excited about this. Like,
No.
What a terrible performance. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
At the
Don't.
same,
Yeah, you can't
at
be
the same
comfortable with
time-
any lead. You can't be comfortable with any lead. Y'all had
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 goals ahead, and now y'all.
I can't wait to
Well,
go
then
back and watch Steve
and then you
Dangle's
lose your
reaction
number
to
one
this.
goalie. You know,
Mhm.
that shifts momentum quite a bit
Yeah.
too.
We had somebody texting us here today, and they're like, Leafs fan in Toronto, right? I'm on a call here. Just settle down. Swearing in the background. Settle down. Sorry, guys.
You're
Anyway,
fine. Yeah,
we had somebody texting us here today, and yeah, Leafs fan in Toronto, and they're like, "Oh, it's our year, because they went up like 2-0 in the first period." And I'm just like, "First time, eh? First time here." Like,
Yeah.
little James Franco meme, first time.
Yeah.
yeah. Wow, that's wild. All right, let's talk about. Do we all think that this Carolina Washington series is going 6 or 7? I think we kind
Yeah.
of
Minimum.
I would be shocked.
Yeah, at
I'd be
least
shocked
6.
if it doesn't.
yeah. So
It might go 9 games at this point.
they make extra games. It's just like quadruple overtime in the last one, you know. So
Right? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be so shocked, and I think the other thing that would surprise me is if either team has more than one road victory. I think it is going to be really. It's going to be almost like who can grab a road win first is going to like take control of the series. I feel
It's funny that you say that, but
Yeah.
just because of that, I almost could see it going 1-1 back to there and us having to steal one back, and but maybe those are the only ones that they win, and then the rest go chalk. But I could so see that just because there's so much pressure, I think, on the Caps now that they're the home, because now I feel like people expect them to win at home.
I'll see. I think the exact opposite. Nobody expected the Caps to 1, make the playoffs, 2, win a first round series. Okay, but it's last year all over again. We're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, and the odds
Right.
makers are all picking Carolina. Like the Caps are the underdog according to the
Which is
betting
fine
odds.
by me.
I'll take it. I am absolutely fine with that.
It is kind of funny. Like, I mean, it's just with the way that the Hurricanes play with, generating a lot of shots, and limiting other people's chances. They just tend to be statistically favorable, and so like it's kind of like the odds makers are looking at raw numbers in a way, almost more than they're looking at like everything,
The whole
else.
game.
So because I mean, honestly, I could see the Caps winning. I mean, I think for the most part, Carolina's probably going to outshoot the Capitals, but that doesn't mean they're going to score more goals. Caps are obviously really good. They've got great finishing talent on their team, so they don't need a ton of shots to like put up decent goal numbers.
That's why it's such an interesting series too, because the Hurricanes lead the league in shots on goal, and the Caps lead the league in shooting percentage. Like, they're the most efficient team.
Yeah.
They take the fewest amount of shots and they score the most goals. So it's really, really
Yeah.
interesting because it's kind of like a tale of two completely opposite teams.
Right. But yet both, I think, run four lines and match up well against each other. So even if it's very competing styles, it'll be interesting to see. That's why, to speak to the home ice advantage, I really do think that, I talked about this earlier, but that last change and being able to get the matchups that you want, I think will prove to be really important in these sort of tight one-goal affair games. So it could ultimately make a big difference. So we are so terrible at home game sevens, though, so I don't love the idea of going to that. So, I think if you're a Caps fan, you want to win it in six.
Or fewer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's not going to be any fewer.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Not unless
Not
there's
in the-
a ridiculous rash of injuries. That ain't happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, not in the real world.
Yeah, for
If there's a
sure.
ridiculous rash of injuries, there could be a really entertaining event with Alexander Nikishin making his debut against his, hockey hero, Alex Ovechkin, which would be nuts to see because he's been, he was, for those of you that don't know, he was the captain of St. Petersburg, the team in the KHL. The Hurricanes have his rights and they've signed him. So he could play at any point, but obviously he's like barely speaking English and hasn't played at all with the Hurricanes. So they're not like ready to throw him into the playoffs, unless absolutely necessary if it's an emergency. But if that emergency comes, that would be really interesting to watch.
Especially because it's the rival team to who Ovechkin would be the captain of, right? So,
Just tell him to make sure he doesn't tell the media that he likes Malkin better. Ask how that went for Demidov.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't think it's that way for him. I think he's OV through and through, at least from what I've heard.
Right.
But yeah, I've seen he has a nasty hip check. He's really good at that.
I love a good hip check.
One time I saw him.
Yeah.
You don't see it enough.
The opposing player was coming on the rush, and he actually caught up to him and hip checked him.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
He was like back skating and caught up to him. While
Does
the other
Dmitry
player was
Orlov still have a good hip check? He was one of the best at that for us. Yeah.
He does. I think he's probably not as dynamite as he was, in Washington. But he had a really solid series, kind of unsung because, for many fans, like, you notice defensemen when they make mistakes, they're the ones that usually get, I don't know, at least from my perspective, it's the defensemen that have drawn the ire. Like Brett Burns has drawn a bit of ire from fans for just making mistakes in the D zone. And, it's like, come on, man, you've been doing this forever. You should.
It's kind of like our John Carlson.
I was just gonna say we've got one of those too.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. The Winnipeg Dallas series. I'll start off with you, Ryan. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, gosh, it's gonna be really interesting. I still think the most brutal chirp of the opening round was the Blues fans saying, "We want Connor." And I don't know what the environment's going to be like in Dallas, but seeing Rantanen score 3 goals in that game 7 is just like the monkey's off his back now, finally. Like, he's really hasn't delivered for the team up until these last 2 games, and obviously in a gigantic, historic way. So I do think that the Stars are going to take this series. but they'll obviously have to steal one in Winnipeg, which will be difficult. I still think it'll be a long, drawn-out series. Yeah, both of these teams are really going to be kind of running on fumes. So that first opening game in Winnipeg is going to be particularly interesting. I could kind of see Dallas kind of fluking their way into winning that first one, and then it's even, in terms of home ice advantage, and Connor will have to face his demons, and I don't know. I have to imagine he'll be better. It's hard to be worse, but I don't think it'll be enough to make the big difference.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, it'll be interesting to see that matchup for sure. Because, as Stewart said, Winnipeg had their number through the regular season, but now it's a completely different season, and that matters somewhat. Matching up well, but like, that they remember that they were 0-3 too. So like, it's. They're definitely going to come for them for sure, and they're lucky that they got to at least wait until Wednesday to start their series to get an extra day's rest. But the Stars have to travel up there. It'll be interesting for sure for that one. Adrian, do you have any thoughts on the Winnipeg Dallas series?
Oh my God, it's going to be so close. Like, I like that part of the Western, like, playoffs was just like so evenly matched for me. Like I didn't like my bracket that I made. Like I don't even remember. Like I just figured that since Colorado won the cup in 22 and Dallas made it to the finals in the bubble, like they're both like eager to get a win. So like that was going to be a close one. And I know the Blues won it back in 19, but the Jets, they are really eager for it as well. Like they've had kind of like a cursed existence. Like I remember watching this Wayne Gretzky documentary, and he was given the choice, like, did you want to go to Winnipeg or do you want to go to Edmonton? And he decided to go with Edmonton because they had just finished building their new Iceplex back then. And that's the deciding factor to making the Great One and that legendary team of the 80s and 1990 to like really get that history going. So Winnipeg, like they've got a good hockey like culture there. They're really eager for it. So I don't even know, man. Like they're both so good. The Jets being the top of the season, the President's Trophy winners. But like I know that doesn't always necessarily translate into postseason success, as I am all too familiar with the Capitals were given that glory. But like I kind of figured that the Senators were gonna get knocked over by the Leafs. And even though the Habs had a decent a couple of periods, I was pretty confident that the Caps are going to beat them, even though I was a little still nervous about the Yaroslav Halak stuff. It was just those two sets of series that I was really like, it could go either way. It's basically a coin flip. I am glad that Edmonton, of course, pulled that off against LA, and I was thinking LA was finally going to beat them, but then Edmonton pulled through, which I was really grateful about. But yeah, that was the closest one. Those are the two closest series. I really don't know, man. Like if I had to say, just like with my armchair, wearing half a t-shirt, analysis knowledge, I'd have to say, I think like I want the Stars to beat the Jets. Now that our dear friend is not in the stream anymore. But I do feel like the Jets are really good. I feel like that Game 7 win is just gonna give them so much mojo that it's not gonna like I just hope it comes back to give them false hope. Like I got nothing against the Jets. I'm just like ever since the Caps shared their division back when it was weird. Like, oh, the Southeast Division featuring the not Southeast at all Winnipeg Jets because they were grandfathered in as the Thrashers from Atlanta, right? So they were very, very like mad at the Caps like back then. So like I was kind of grateful to have them out of the division, not just because it meant less traveling for wear and tear for the Caps, but also because that crowd, like Winnipeg, I don't even know what the heck does Winnipeg have going on for it besides the Jets. Like they have like a folk festival that I went to 20 something years ago, but like yeah. Like you're gonna put this on YouTube, right? I'm gonna get like so many like videos be like, "This guy sucks, Robbie. I hate him. Go back to Edmonton, you fraud." Yeah. I do like their logo though. I think it's legit, like the Royal Canadian Air Force with the jet and the maple leaf and the thing. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I'd say I want the Stars to win, but I feel like the Jets are gonna win, and it's just so close. Like I don't even know, man. Like I'm just gonna go with that. I'm rooting for the Stars, but I feel like the Jets are gonna win. They have so much momentum now, and I don't think they want to, like as long as they don't blow it, like don't get overconfident. Don't like as we saw tonight with the Leafs and the Panthers. Like, oh, we got 3 goals, we'll be fine. Like, and then like they kept creeping up. They get no comfort zone, no cushion, right? Like, yeah, don't let it go. But yeah, that's how I feel.
Jeanette, what are some of your thoughts
On what?
on?
I have many thoughts in my head, but
on specifically the Jet Stars, I would guess would be what we're talking about right now.
Like on that one series,
mm-hmm.
or just on that one series.
Okay. Or you can talk about the West Coast playoffs in general. Yeah, if you don't know that series or the Oilers one.
I'm really torn on the Jets Stars one as well. Like really torn.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know. Every year for the last so many years, I've picked Winnipeg to like go far in the playoffs, and I've just learned not to do that because of Connor Hellebuyck. So I don't know if like had he played well in this series and he finally like overcame that hurdle and got a series win like through him playing well, then I would feel differently. But they really won that first round in spite of him. Like they had to outscore the garbage performances that he was putting up. So I'm just really not confident in him at all. I don't think he's proven anything yet. And the Stars are a way better offensive team than the St. Louis Blues are. So I think that's a little bit scary. I want Winnipeg to win because I know so many people who like part of my family lives in Winnipeg, like on my mom's side, and like they're all diehard Jets fans, and like they have such a great fan base. Like they really, really, really deserve good things. But I don't know. I can't in good faith pick them with Connor Hellebuyck in net, if that makes sense, as much as I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to have, like you said, they're going to have, like Adrian just said, they're going to have a ton of momentum coming off that series win that they just got. But I just think if they go on the road for the first time in that game 3 and Hellebuyck sucks again, it's just, I don't know. Like, how do you keep overcoming that as you start facing better?
I think Stewart's right. If they lose game 3 on the road, you switch goalies for game 4.
You have to.
Lose
you
at
have
that
have
point,
to.
right?
You're going to have to.
Right.
And honestly, I would probably take a chance on switching goalies in game 1, as bad as he's been in this series, just to see what they can do. You know, it's one game. You still have, 6 more to get through. So, I mean, why not take the chance? I mean, I still think Dallas is going to pull it out in the end, but I mean, at this point, what have you got to lose?
Joe, what are your thoughts on the goalie situation?
I don't know. I might be on an island here, but I think Hellebuyck got a hell of a lot of confidence from outlasting. I don't think there was one play where he wandered about 15 feet from his net, and I think everybody in the building was like, "What the effing F are you doing?" Other than that, he was pretty solid in that game. So I think, again, confidence goes a long way when you're a goalie in that situation. And I don't know. We'll see. But I think he should get a very short leash. If he's really bad in game 1, okay, then yeah, maybe you switch.
Sit in the corner. Bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Bad Hellebuck. Bad Hellebuck. Go sit in the corner and think about what you did
Exactly.
or didn't do.
All right, Gil, I'm gonna have you start with the Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers and your thoughts on that one. Do you have any take on that series?
I don't know. I'm not all that fond of Vegas. They're a decent team. There's not really a glaring flaw up and down their lineup, but I don't know. They're kind of like Dallas in a way. They don't overly impress me playoff wise. I mean, Jack Eichel, he's really great. He's a great player, cup winner, but I don't know. I think they lost too many pieces since they won that cup, and they really haven't been the same. So I don't know. I can't see them getting past Edmonton. I really don't. It's probably going to be a long series, but I can't see them outscoring Edmonton, and that's probably what it's going to come down to. You're probably going to have at least 3-4 games that are going to be like 6-5 or something like that. So yeah, if that's what it comes to, then no, they can't match firepower.
Yeah, Jenaya, what are some of your thoughts on that Oilers series?
Me and Gil agree on a lot, but I don't think I agree with him on this one. I just think I don't know. I really thought LA was going to beat Edmonton this time. I cannot believe like what I saw, and that was the worst coach's challenge of all time in Game 3. Like it was just horrendous. That just like as soon as they did that, and then Edmonton scored and won that game, you were just like, wow, they're gonna lose this series, and they're probably not gonna win another game after this because it was just so comically bad. Like you just kind of felt like that was what was going to happen. But I thought LA, like for the first 4 games, really like they outplayed the Oilers. Like they probably deserved to be up at least 3-1. They kind of collapsed after the Oilers had tied it at 2-2. But I just feel like Vegas is almost like a better version of LA. Like they play quite similarly to them, but they've got like a way bigger defense. Like that's what they're known for, is their defense is huge. Like it's like the Monstars back there from Space Jam, if you guys seen Space Jam. But
who hasn't seen Space Jam?
Yeah, they've got this huge back end, and that's kind of like what they build out from. The one thing I will say though is that at least in the first round, Aiden Hill was super shaky. So we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the Kings have a better goalie than but I still think that the rest of the players on Vegas are better than the Kings.
Yeah, I just think they're like a better version of what Los Angeles is, and I think LA easily could have won that series if they didn't make a few mistakes, like the coach's challenge, and then Byfield not getting that puck out at the end of Game 4. It was like it would have been so easy for them to be up 3-1 or sweep them even. So I just think, as long as Vegas doesn't make any colossal mistakes like that, they'll probably win. I don't know. That's my kind of feeling. I also think, I don't know, to me, like I watch a lot of Oilers games because they're on TV up here all the time. And to me, they don't look the same as they did last year. Like to me, they're not as good as they were last year. They lost a lot of speed. They lost like their only couple of young players, basically. Holloway, Broberg and McLeod, right? Like they lost all 3 of those guys. They lost a ton of speed, and they just look kind of old and slow, and they have all season. That being said, they have 2 players who can make up for a lot of that, but sometimes that's not enough. So I don't know. I think it'll come down to just if Vegas does what they're supposed to do, and if their goalie can just kind of be at least average.
Ryan, what are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Aiden Hill is probably going to be fine. I don't see it being a situation where he really steals Vegas a game. Vegas is really tough. I'm kind of sick of seeing Vegas, to be honest. So I'm trying not to let my personal feelings get in the way of it. But you really cannot you just can't count out Edmonton from anything. I feel like last year, I kind of said it before the playoffs started. I mean, they had a terrible start they were like at the bottom of the league, like I think as late as like January. And they crawled their way all the way back into a playoff position. And I said, look out, because this is a team that now like believes in each other. And
I remind me of the Nationals in 2019, sort of this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no one. They were counted out early in the season.
19 and 31.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing definitely impacts a team, and I feel like obviously this is a different year and it's not entirely the same team, but they're not going to ever really feel like they're out of it. I mean, they kind of proved that against LA, even when things weren't going their way early in the series. So I still think Edmonton's going to find a way to come out on top. You know, even if McDavid and Draisaitl have to like score like, you know, 6 goals apiece in the series or something crazy like that, you know, like they're going to find a way to like do it, I think. So anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
Vegas is really good.
Yeah, for sure. C4, any more thoughts on it?
I think everyone pretty much covered it. I kind of am leaning a little bit towards Edmonton just because the sheer level of heart that team has, but again, to Jenaya's point, they have looked a little slower this year. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough series. I think it's going to go. I don't see a sweep. I see probably at least 6 games. I'm not sure who's going to come out ahead. I'd like to see Edmonton because I'm just kind of tired of Vegas, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, my connection is saying unstable for my end, but you guys seem like you're good. So this is just on my end. Adrian, I know it's your team, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you feel, how confident do you feel? I'll let you give a quick answer.
Quick answer. I am hopeful and I'm optimistic, but I'm also nervous as hell, and I'm a bit of a superstitious guy like you. I was like, is it a mistake wearing half a t-shirt? I don't know, but is it a mistake to not wear an Edmonton Oilers t-shirt on Robbie's Magic broadcast?
The fate of the franchise rests in your shirt.
I know, right? Yeah.
That's right. All mine out here, right? You know,
I mean, like, they went almost all the way last year, and they were hiding a bunch of injuries while they were getting that far. So, like, I think McDavid had like a broken wrist or something, or like a body injury, like on Draisaitl, or they had to suck it up as best as they could to do as well as they did. So hopefully they can have the mojo, but none of the like detrimental like injuries. You don't want people to know that, right? Like it's
right.
it's like it's like you know, you got to keep it a secret because you don't want to look weak in front of the opponents, and you don't want them to exploit anything that, you know, any secrets, right? So I'm just, if they can go far, I'll still be proud of them and happy for them. Like I haven't seen too much of Vegas this year. So like I don't know how it's going to be on their end, but what I do know is that Edmonton, they got within an inch of winning it all, and they've been eager to just get that back. So I feel like that will help a lot. And I also feel like there is an advantage that people don't really discuss that much, at least not that I'm aware of in my amateur analysis, but like geographically speaking, Las Vegas is not that far away from Los Angeles. So like if they went back and forth from Edmonton to Los Angeles, will it be kind of like a similar vibe to going back and forth from Edmonton to Vegas? So it's like they're kind of used to it by now, right? Like going to Florida last year for the finals, that was the longest traveling between two teams in a finals in history. So
Yeah.
like I felt like that kind of makes a difference. Like I know it's not really as far as I've seen, it's not that widely discussed, but I feel like less wear and tear and less fatigue from the traveling, the constant movement, and packing up and going. I feel like that will help. So I am biased towards Edmonton, of course, but I feel like they can do it, but I also don't want to jinx them. So I'm going to say the Knicks in 6.
There you go. All right.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah, I'm
well done
for Edmonton. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, I'm going to start to wrap it up here because this has been a 2-hour and 15-minute hocky segment.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
I have a lot of people that were not expecting that, including myself. But I really had so much fun celebrating, obviously, this 4 years of affiliate, 900 followers, and all of our teams getting to the second round. And Ryan, obviously, a very good sport to come on a show with all Caps fans. So I appreciate it. For braving that, and hopefully we weren't too cruel. But I think it's going to be a really great matchup, and I'm excited. And if you're not too mad with us, we can always have you back on next Tuesday. And get what your thoughts are after 4 games in. I do appreciate getting the perspective from the other team's fans, which I think is such a cool opportunity tonight to talk to people from all over, both this country and other countries. So it's been fun to be able to do this with you, Ryan. But any final thoughts, and I will do your command here.
Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun. I did get the opportunity way back in 2019 to see a playoff game in Cap. Now I don't know what your arena is called.
Call it Cap One.
Capital One.
Yeah. But yeah, I got a chance to see that game 2 that went into overtime there, and it was a lot of fun. So if I could handle that environment, this is pretty tame by comparison.
We're
just on
pretty good to opposing fans, though, for the most part.
Yeah, I didn't really have I didn't have any like crazy encounters. It was funny walking out of there, though. Everybody was really feeling themselves after that overtime win.
Right.
Anyway, but it was really fun, and I guess the last thing I'll say is I'm hoping that we might get an Eddie Vedder appearance in Raleigh, because Pearl Jam is playing some shows in between the games that are going to be in PNC. So I'm kind of hoping that the Canes organization entices some of the members of Pearl Jam to come to a game, and maybe get them to sound the siren if they're feeling up for it. But I doubt that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to be interested, but anyway, just something to keep an eye out for. That's kind of fun.
It's kind of funny that you say this. Linkin Park just played up in Baltimore, and I got to go to it this weekend, and they're my favorite band. And I saw they're actually playing in Raleigh on Tuesday because they didn't have a conflict because the game is in Washington. So I thought that was kind of cool that they are that. Both our stop and then your stop was the 2 stops back to back there, so I thought that was kind of fun.
Nice.
And I will give a quick little shout out. We had Ryan come up for a concert series that we had last year here in Casa de Bardo. We're actually going to have her back the week between Mother's Day and Memorial Day. There's the Sunday in between. So if anybody's listening,
that's when everything happens.
Right.
Like in May, that's it. It's like everybody plans for that weekend.
So, but if anyone doesn't have plans and wants to come to a concert here, there's definitely information that I will be sharing on my social media, and you can always check it out on emilyhenrymusic.com if you want to link to that as well. So, Ryan and I had a great time at that show last year, so it was fun to have him stay here in the man cave adjacent. Brian, thank you for coming through, and maybe we'll have you back on before this series is over.
Thanks again. Had to get my little music mention in there. So
Yes, of course, and definitely go check out that Eat Flat Guy. And on Twitch, I did put the link in chat, and I'm sure you'll be streaming on Wednesday, like normal. So you can catch him
Wednesday
during
morning.
Yeah, Wednesday morning, and then Friday evenings are usually the times that you can catch Ryan here on Twitch. But thank you, Ryan, so much for giving us the Hurricanes perspective.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Hi, Ryan. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet y'all.
Nice to meet you, Ryan.
Good to see you again, Gil.
Goodbye.
Yep. Likewise.
All right. With that, C4, I'm going to let you say your goodbyes. Any final thoughts that you have before we let you go?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of sad. I'm going to miss watching the first two games. Marcus and I are going to go see Bullet for My Valentine tomorrow night down in DC at the Anthem. And then Thursday, I coach track at the high school here, and we have our county championship meet on Thursday. So I'm going to miss both of those games, but hopefully I'll catch game 3 and 4.
But the juju, if we lose game 1 and 2, we'll know why. So,
well, I was at a track meet when we won game 5.
Oh, there you go.
Against Edmonton. So
all right, the track meet's good. All right,
the track meet's good. So yeah, the Bullet for My Valentine. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I thought I was sure they were going to do it like.
But I will be. But at least I will be in DC.
Yeah,
right.
That's cool. I was convinced they were going to do it on Saturday for the Lincoln Park one that I've been waiting 12 years to see. I was like, they're going to do this to me.
Yeah.
And so I was very thankful they didn't do it on the podcast day or that day, and so I appreciated that it was Tuesday.
Yeah, well, we've been planning this for almost a year, so we got VIP tickets. So we're going to meet. We got meet and greet tickets and all that. So
that's
I'm
awesome.
excited.
That'll be really cool. I'll let Jenaya go next. Definitely go check out her 100th podcast with Gil for more thoughts on this upcoming series. But Jenaya, any other final thoughts before we let you go?
Nope. Just kidding. I'm starting to get hangry. I have to go eat something.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I'm kidding. It's okay. No. Just so much fun as always coming on here, and it's cool that we get to have like fans from other teams, and especially the team that we're about to face off against. It's always nice to get that perspective from the other side and see what they think about your team, and they can hear what we think about their team. And I think the consensus from pretty much all Caps fans that I've heard, and all Canes fans that I've heard too, is that this is going to be a great series, and everyone has respect for the other team and all of that. Like, it's just going to be a really good series between two really good teams. I will be shocked if it doesn't go 7 games, because that's just my feeling. Like, I think it's going 7 for sure. Right. I think we're probably going to have to get used to the idea of some more overtime games as well, because I could see that happening too. So we'll see how it plays out. But just thank you for having me on again. It's so much fun as always. And thank you again to Gil for coming on my show this week. It was a lot of fun. Definitely go check it out if you haven't already. I kept him on there for over an hour, so it was a pretty good episode. And just can't wait to get started tomorrow and see how game 1 goes.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. And Adrian, I'll let you give your final thoughts.
I was trying to look at everyone like in the stream. I think I was looking at Jenaya instead of Cheryl. Just so I'm sorry. Like, I'm just like staring at a wall. I wanted to make it look like I was. Look at you. I got Gil. I got my big man upstairs. I got Gil. Big man upstairs. I believe in you, man. I believe in you, Robbie. You're right over here. I believe in you too, man.
It's like celebrity squares now.
I was trying to keep that up. I think I mixed up the ladies, though. I'm sorry. So I wasn't trying to like weirdly stare at people, but thanks for having me on. It's been an honor, a privilege. Thank you for helping me with my streaming stuff. I haven't been on in a while because I'm going to meet up with a certain Senor Benson tomorrow to get my new setup, so I can stream a lot more stuff. Not to give myself a shameless plug or anything. But,
this is the shameless plug times.
Great. Yeah. All right.
Yes,
shameless plug.
So all that stuff you were talking about earlier about like that drum kit thing. Like, if you wanted to like work some of your Robbie gross magic, I'll invite you over and I'll bake you cookies or something so we can figure something out.
I'll definitely help you set up your OBS for sure. And so yeah, I did the link in chat, but it's Ace Caltor 314. You can go check him out. He does a lot of different types of streams, video game streams, maybe other things in the near future. Yeah. And hopefully, if Benson's listening, happy birthday to him. He's still got 30 minutes left of his birthday.
Yeah.
I'm
happy Star Wars Day yesterday. Revenge. May the 4th be with you, but now it's Revenge of the 5th. There's also Revenge of the 6th.
Yes.
And I was playing as Luke Skywalker when I was playing at Fortnite when I was at the beginning of the stream, and like I had to like haphazardly jump in with my half shirt and my mixed upness, but yeah, here I am. So thank you, Robbie. I know this is kind of like a last minute doodad, but I enjoyed it, and this has been an exciting postseason in the NHL. We look forward to seeing what comes up next, good or bad, but it'll still be exciting no matter what. And yeah, we got some cool kids here. So yeah, thanks for having me in your Treehouse Club. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thank you, Adrian. All right, Gil, I'll let you have the last day of the Hockey Roundtable. Any final thoughts? Definitely go check out the Power Play Point podcast and Jenaya Talks Caps for more, Gil. But any other thoughts?
The big man upstairs.
Yeah, no, it's been a fun and exciting playoffs. I just hope it keeps going for a while, and it's been fun. Thanks for having us all on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
This has been a lot of fun. So we'll and you guys are all welcome to join in next Tuesday. Little shout out, since there is going to be a game for next Monday. We will not be doing a podcast to try to compete with that, because I think that would be a little bit too crazy. But anybody is obviously welcome to join in next week as well. So
the series will be over by then. Right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yes, there we go.
All right. Well, I appreciate all of you guys, and we'll definitely talk more soon.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
All right, we're gonna bring in
again,
Ken
Robbie.
here. We're gonna switch gears here to. I'll let Ken make the final decision on the order of things, because Ken, you waited for so long, and I appreciate.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I feel like a wrestler who was told early in the day, "Hey, you and your opponent work out your match with the producer. You have 15 minutes," and then I'm sitting in gorilla position. They said, "Oh, the segment earlier ran too long. You only have 7 minutes." That's how I feel like right now. My time just got cut, so now I have to adjust on the fly and figure out how I'm gonna make our match work with 8 less minutes.
You have all the time that you want right now. I would never cut your match short. So
all right. Well, since I have carte blanche,
yeah. Which subject do you want to talk first?
Let's talk defenders first, because I want to get that shit out the way.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. I gotta find that graphic. But you can start giving your thoughts on it, because man, was that a brutal.
That game was absolute. Look, our win the week before was frustrating, even though we won. But this game was even more frustrating because we lost. And not only did we lose, we got killed. And here's something that I've noticed. Ever since Greg Williams left to go coach in college, because clearly colleges are paying a lot more than the UFL is if they're leaving to go to college.
Yeah,
our defense has regressed. They're giving up more points, more yards than they did the first couple of games when Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator. Te'amu continues to just be one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks that I've ever seen in professional sports. He had a 52.
He's regressed so much from last year, because I don't remember it being this bad.
He had only completed 52.8% of his passes, 19 of 36, 259 yards. Now, granted, he didn't throw an interception. He threw 2 touchdown passes, and he had a QBR of 94.6. He completed passes to 6 different receivers, but just a touch over 50% of his completions. That's not going to get it done a lot, especially if your defense is sort of regressed the way that it has. And then I put this in my notes. The rushing for the defenders as a team, 20 rushes, 75 yards. And I put on here, unacceptable with 3 exclamation points, because that is unacceptable that as a team you can't rush for 100 yards. Now, it's one thing if one person can't rush for over 100, but as a team you can't rush for 100 yards. When your opponent rushes for 213 yards, think about that. You can't even get 100 yards as a team, whereas the other team managed to get 213 yards with Tua Tawa having 19 rushes, 94 yards, and a touchdown. He almost had 100 yards by himself. He had more yards by himself than the entire defenders team. That's wild to me that one man had more yards by himself rushing than the entire defenders team. That just, oh man, that just makes me
I
want to pull the
I
little
don't
bit
even
of
think the
hair that I
stats
have
do
on
it.
me out.
I don't even think the stats do an accurate job depicting all the issues that they were having, because when he missed, they were really bad. Like, it wasn't even close to some players. Like, I think that there were some underlying good numbers that he had that sort of made him look better. But, like, if you actually watch some of those, overthrows, they were atrocious. And it's just like, you were like, I was wondering, what the heck is he looking at, or what is he doing? It was,
Yeah, I mean, it's been like that all season long. It's like he
Yeah.
misses throws that most quarterbacks will make in their sleep. Even the average quarterback that's a backup in the NFL can make that throw 8 times out of 10. And yet
right.
he misses those throws. It's like, well,
But then
that
he'll make
explains why he's
some.
not in the NFL.
But they don't make some other ones that you're like, well, if you can make that, why couldn't he make the other one? Like, there's, because I've seen him throw the deep ball, and
Yeah,
so
exactly, and that's what frustrates me about Jordan Ta'amu is that he'll miss the easy throw, but he'll make the low percentage throw, and it's like, what, and I'm sorry for saying, excuse my French, but I'll be sitting there like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, how are you missing the high percentage throw, but you make the low percentage throw look so easy? It's just frustrating to me. And then Bryce Perkins, who is this guy? Because this dude was like freaking Houdini. Like, there was 2 or 3 times he got out of getting sacked. One time he actually threw a touchdown and got called back by a penalty, thank goodness. But then he turned around and still got a touchdown, kept escaping the pressure, escaping the rush, and making throws down the field. I'm like, why don't we have a quarterback like this? Like, that's what really frustrates me.
that team looks dangerous. I think that they might win
Very.
this whole thing. I'll be totally honest, 'cause I've watched every game this season, and that was the toughest opponent we faced.
Yeah, I agree, and that's saying a lot when we have to deal with the Battlehawks because they're in our
Yeah.
conference and stuff like that. But no, this was and thankfully they're in the USFL conference, so we only got to deal with them this one time. Hopefully, we don't see them again in the championship. Because we do, they go probably boat races again because that team is really, really good. But one person I do want to highlight is Chris Rowland. Chris Rowland is really rounding into being the top receiver and basically the top target for Ta'amu. He had 9 catches off of 12 targets for 144 yards and a touchdown. He led all receivers in the entire game in receptions, targets, yards for the game. He's absolutely the guy that will definitely be someone that's going to bail out Ta'amu when Ta'amu's not on his game. And I think that a lot of defensive coordinators in the league, especially in the XFL conference, are going to realize how dangerous Chris Rowland is, and they're going to start scheming against him with double teams, with a corner on him and a safety over the top of him playing cover 2 and whatnot to keep him from beating them deep or playing man. Because if you try to play zone on a guy like Chris Rowland the way that he's playing with the numbers he's putting up, he will kill you. He will absolutely kill you. And he showed that here. Unfortunately, his efforts were not met by the rest of the team, man. It really sucks. Like, I looked at the stats, and he was the only receiver out of all the receivers, on both teams, that have over 100 yards receiving. So that tells you that he is a game-changing receiver. And a lot of defensive coordinators are going to realize that and start scheming to try to keep him from having those type of games.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the the wheels starting to come off because I was so impressed with how the Defenders started their season. And I just feel like they've been regressing the last couple of games, and I'm not quite sure why. I was a little bit worried when they had some coaches and the coaches left and they were replaced by their coordinators, right? And it just doesn't seem. I don't know if on game film we're being found out. The game plan isn't working. We need to shift something up a little bit more. But I felt last week we didn't play very well, and I felt this week was just. I had to turn it off at one point because it was just so bad. I turned it back on later. It was still bad. It just really uninspired. It just is so different, and maybe it's the other team that's forcing that on us. But it felt so very different than the beginning of the season.
The problem is, and I think a lot of teams are figuring it out, is that this team is one-dimensional. They're one-dimensional. I mean, the numbers say it all. 75 rushing yards as a team as opposed to 259 yards in the air. 36 passing attempts to 20. We're too one-dimensional. That's the problem. And when people realize that, you play the Defenders, they're just going to throw the ball like 30, 40 times a game and only rush it 20 times and not get 100 yards as a team, they're going to figure it out and they're going to be able to be able to scheme against that. That's the issue. They have a very, very good running back in Abram Smith. He was so good last year.
I think he's hurt, right?
I don't know.
He just does not seem like the same guy. And Tiamo is just his accuracy is, we're depending on our defense and special teams, and they didn't show up in the last game, and then thus we're going to lose. So we're literally games where our defense can make stops and stop them. We'll have a chance in, but unless that happens, it's going to be pretty difficult for sure. I was going to try to bring up who their next opponent is.
It's the Brahmas, San Antonio.
Okay. So that'll be an interesting matchup for sure, especially because they played us really. Isn't that the one that they actually played us pretty tough last time?
That was the team that was winless, and we lost to them.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we need to get our revenge game for sure.
Exactly. This is definitely a revenge game, and it's also a bounce-back game for this team as a whole after just like getting embarrassed on the road in Detroit to Michigan. This is definitely a bounce-back game for the Defenders, but it starts, and I feel like a broken record. I feel like I'm drunk and I'm repeating myself because that's what drunks do. They tend to repeat themselves when they get a thought in their head. Same thing with small children. It starts with the run game. The run game has to be effective because then the pass game can be even more effective. And if you're not running the football, then of course, they're going to be able to set up defenses to stop the pass game because they know you're not going to turn around and hand the ball off to Smith or to Jackson. You're going to just go up there and have Tiamo throw it 40 times. And then all you got to do is just, play good defense, play good zone, play good man coverage, and you're able to stop him. We already know that Tiamo's not the most accurate this season, even though according to the commentators, he's one of the league leaders in passing in the league, which I find to be strange. I hope it's not in completion percentage, because if it is, that means there's other quarterbacks in the league that are worse in terms of completion percentage.
No, I don't think it was completion, but I think it was total yardage, because in some of the early games he was putting up big numbers, right? So I think that it's got to be a totals thing, not a. There's no way his percentage has been kind of terrible all season, in my opinion. He put up yards, but not that. That's what I imagine. It's really interesting how close they are. I mean, in the XFL, DC and St. Louis both at 4-2, Arlington at 3-3, and then the Brahmas at 1-5, and then that is exactly mirrored on the USFL. 2 4-2 teams, a 3-3, and a 1-5 team. So it's interesting how close it is here. We're only 4 weeks left of the season. It goes by so fast. So we got to find a way to get a big time victory. this week against the Brahmas and get payback for that one loss, because it's not going to get easier from there. The Renegades play the Panthers. That's going to be an interesting match on Saturday. Oh, by the way, the Defenders Brahmas game is on Friday at 8 p.m. I just want to put that out there for people. It's our first Friday night game, and I feel like a lot of people are going to tune in looking at Saturday and be like, "What happened?" And it's going to already be over. So just a shout out to that, and just make sure that you know that there's a Friday game this week. Saturday 1 o'clock game is the Panthers and Renegades. That'll be a really great matchup between some of the Renegades that are just right under that cusp, and then the Panthers have been really good on the other league. And then you got the Roughnecks and the Stallions, which is the flip side of that. So it's a 3-3 and a 4-2 game. And then you got the Battlehawks versus the Showboat. So they're 4-2, and they're also playing another 1-5 team. So you know that the Battlehawks are trying to go on the road to get to 5-2, and so you got to try to match that energy. Week 8. Just so people know, our game will be on Sunday. We'll be playing those Renegades on ABC. On the 17th, the Panthers will play the Roughnecks. The Stallions play the Battlehawks. Showboats will play the Brahmas in the Battle of the Worst. Week 9, we're playing. The Battlehawks are playing the Brahmas. And the Defenders are going to play the Roughnecks. That'll be a tough one. That'll be on Sunday. Panthers will play the Stallions, and the Renegades will play the Showboats. And then the last week of the season, the Battlehawks come to town in D.C. Part of me still wants to go to that game, but it's a Friday night at 8 p.m. game. So I'm gonna maybe do a game time decision or early, close to, and see if tickets start to fall or where we're at that point. Sounds
I'm just
exciting.
gonna go on record. I'm just gonna go on the record right now and just say that I'm never, ever, ever, ever doing Lyft, picking up anybody near Audi Field for any game ever again, because I did that Saturday night. I picked somebody up from near Audi Field at Nats Park while the Nats were in Cincinnati, and the United played the Rapids. We'll get into the United in just a bit. And it literally took me about 20-30 minutes to go up South Capitol Street and go up that ramp to get on 395 southbound, because they were going to a little spot that was right down the street from my apartment. It was my last ride of the night, and it took about 45 minutes to complete it because I spent 30 minutes sitting in traffic trying to get up the ramp to get on 395.
They need to fix that before they move RFK, in my opinion, right? I don't know. I just feel like they got to find a way to
They have 5 years to do it. If the council DC, if the city council approves it, they have 5 years to fix that area to make it so that
They
it's
claim that they were
easier
going
for-
to. I'm still not sure how they're going to do it, but it'll be interesting nonetheless. And I do have one update, or one of the things I did say about the new stadium that I failed to mention because I didn't find out until after. I thought they were going to keep Northwest Stadium. They're not. They're going to demo it, and they're going to build a whole entire complex out there of a lot of different things. So, but where the Commanders have got to flip the bill for some of it. So that's interesting. So, because I thought that we were going to get 2 stadiums, but we're not. But that Battlehawks Defenders game will become very important on the last game of the season. It's almost like playing Dallas last game of the season in some ways, right? And I sort of see it that way. Roughnecks will play the Panthers. Renegades will play the Brahmas, and the Stallions will play the Showboats that last week. So still a lot of more UFL to talk about. We will continue this podcast going until their season is over. So if their season extends past the Capitals, we will continue to cover them until our summer session, which would probably start right after whatever their last game is. So we'll sort of see how that goes for that. But let's talk, because you did mention DC United. We can go to them next if you'd like.
Yes, we can go to United. They actually had a much better showing this week after the 3-0 loss they suffered to Philly the week prior. They defeated the Colorado Rapids 2-1 in this matchup. Darren Yappy of the Rapids got the scoring started off in the 43rd minute with a goal, but then in extra time to end the first half, Christian Benteke and Jose Kajima both scored Benteke in the fourth minute of extra time, and then in the 7th minute of extra time was Kojima, and those were the only goals scored all in the first half. There was no goal scored in the second half, but that was all that DC United needed. They only managed 9 shots at DC United, but 3 of them were on target, with 2 of them going in the first half. Colorado managed 8 shots with 3 on target, so both teams managed to get 3 shots on target. But DC United managed to get 2 goals to Colorado's 1. Colorado did have the hold on to possession of the ball most of the game, 56% of the game, to DC United's 44%, but it was enough for DC United to be able to hold on to a victory. But they have a very busy week coming up because they don't have just one game this upcoming week. They have 2 games. Tuesday night, they actually are playing because the U.S. Open Cup is beginning this week, and they have a game in the round of 32 against the Charleston Battery on Tuesday night. And then they got a turnaround on Saturday, and they play Toronto FC. And Toronto FC actually currently is 5 points behind them on the table in the Eastern Conference. So this is going to be a pretty important game to kind of keep them at bay and keep us trying to climb back up in the table in the Eastern Conference. We're still well behind in the table, but it's still early on in the season. So every point is extremely, extremely important. Otherwise, we could be seeing another situation where these guys are going to be watching the playoffs and not being in them. But a good win. And again, I got stuck in all the traffic of everybody trying to leave Audi Field because I had the bright idea of, hey, I'm driving Lyft. I'll go down there and see if I can catch me a nice little fare. Trust me, like the fare I got, even though it wasn't somebody at the game, but the fare I got was pretty good, and it was a good one to get to end my night. But it just took forever to get out of that area because of how freaking crowded it was and how much traffic was getting out of there. But hopefully they're able to at least, get some momentum in the round of 32 in the U.S. Open Cup, and also get a victory over Toronto FC.
Yeah, we really got to get that win over Toronto because, as you were saying, like we've got to feed of the teams at the bottom because we need to make up ground because we're falling farther and farther back. I mean, even with a win in that, we would still be just basically barely holding serve. We'd still find ourselves probably in the 10th or 11th seed, and we got to get ourselves up to the 9th spot. So we got to start stringing some victories together and not sort of have a win and then a loss and then a win. We got to start to take advantage of that. And I guess I care less about the cup one. I mean, I understand that that's nice, but I would really, if we're going to have to focus on something, we need to start making ground. And so I hope that cup game doesn't sort of hurt us for the game that matters in the standings later in the week situation. So we'll have to use our reserves and players well for that. There's a Palmy in chat, which is an interesting Pokemon. The reason I say it's interesting is there's actually a community day with Palmy in Pokemon Go on Mother's Day this week that I know that Zach and Liz are very excited. We're going to go play that hopefully at King's Dominion. That's what Liz wanted to do for Mother's Day. So yeah. All right, let's switch gears to MLB real fast. The game today was postponed, right? Is that right?
Yeah, it was postponed because it poured down. It was raining, so they decided to do a double. They're going to do a doubleheader on Tuesday with the Guardians, but Nationals very up and down week. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Phillies in Philadelphia, 7-6, and then 7-2. They were able to take the series finale 4-2, and then they took 2 or 3 in Cincinnati. They lost the opener 6-1, but then won 11-6 and 4-1. So a very up and down week. They were able to not bad, but not great either. So they're gonna have to really fix that. Now they got the Guardians, who are second in the AL Central right now, so they're pretty good, pretty talented team that they got coming in to Nats Park, because they have the next two series are at home with the Guardians, and then they have a weekend 3-game set with the Cardinals, who are fourth in the NL Central. So that's another team that they're going to have to really buckle down and try to deal with as well. So you have two series that are at home. You got to take advantage of that home field advantage and deal with two teams from the Central in different leagues and see what you can do with that. Hopefully the pitching can get better, because offensively, as you can see by the run scored, that they have plenty of offense. This team has plenty of offense, but the pitching has got to improve in order to complement the amount of offense that this team is putting up. These pitchers have got to go out there and get outs, get strikeouts, and keep runs off the board if this team is going to have any chance of being even talking about being in the mix when it comes down to past the All-Star break.
Yeah, I'll give a quick little Orioles update. They were able, last Monday we talked about how they beat the Yankees. They got crushed by the Yankees in the second game, 15-3. The Yankees made some history with that game, being that in the first inning, their first, second, and third players all hit home runs, and so that's 3 consecutive home runs to start a game. Has never been done twice in a season, and they've already done it twice this season. And we're just starting May right now, so that's pretty wild. The Yankees definitely have some bats that will show up, but I was happy to see the Orioles were able to win the rubber match game and win that 5-4. Then they played Kansas City, won the first one in that series, 3-0, but then lost 4-0, and then lost 11-6 in the most recent game. And then they'll be playing at Minnesota this week, and then at the Angels after that. So we'll continue to monitor them as well. Any other sports we want to talk about before we get into wrestling?
Just 2027, get ready, DC, because the NFL draft is coming here. So it's going to be at the National Mall. It was an announcement made at the White House with Commanders owner Josh Harris and DC Mayor Muriel Bowser, along with Felon Orange. They announced that the draft is coming here, and I think it's going to be a great event, because we all, like those of us who are here locally, know that the National Mall is a massive area, so it's definitely big enough of an area to hold a lot of people for the draft. I'm glad that they're not doing it at FedEx Field, because that would be an absolute nightmare logistically. And so I like the fact that they're doing it at the mall, because then people can walk there and take Metro and walk there. It's not that bad of a walk. You could do ride sharing, Metro, what have you, and do that. So I think that's gonna be great for the city to have the draft here and to get to see who gets drafted here while you're here, and especially hopefully the Commanders will have a late first round pick and not an early first round pick like we've had the last several years, and everybody can just hang around, and as soon as the Commanders pick comes up, everybody can just go absolutely nuts. And whoever gets drafted by the Commanders, they'll be already here, already home, and get that big hometown welcome and everything like they did in Green Bay this year. I can't wait. Like, if whatever my situation is in 2027, I may or may not be there, because I'm supposed to be hosting my dad's side of family's family reunion, which will be 3 months after that. So I'll have to see what my situation is at that time. But hopefully my situation is good enough that I'll be able to go and check that out, because that would be a unique experience to be able to be at the NFL draft.
Yeah, I would definitely try to maybe get down there as well, depending on what's going on with me as well. It's always tough because it's on the Thursday, right? Or is it the whole weekend is on
The whole
mall?
weekend. Yeah, the whole weekend.
Yeah, so I might go to a later round one. Thursday night's always a tough one, but that'd be exciting. We do have some other news out of this area for sports. We'll talk about the Ravens for just a second. They did release Justin Tucker today. That's the big news story in the NFL, actually. They did draft a new kicker. And the allegations were enough to sink that career. So
it's still raining, by the way. So it's a good thing they did postpone that game because it's still raining.
yeah, it's been pouring here too. So, what are your thoughts on the Justin Tucker situation? The greatest.
I'm not surprised because if you remember earlier this past season, we signed Brandon McManus and then he got accused of something and he was immediately let go. So I'm not surprised that the same thing happened to Justin Tucker because allegation like that, it's you can't ignore it, especially in this day and age. You can't just sit there and say, we'll wait for the legal process to play out. I mean, you can, but then it doesn't look good on you because then it looks like you're protecting someone who's could be that, you know what I'm saying? And so that's something, that was a move that I was expecting the Ravens to make, especially after they did draft the kicker. You kind of felt that Justin Tucker's time was going to be up in Baltimore. And unless these allegations are proven to be false, I don't foresee Tucker finding another job in the NFL, especially because I don't think there's a need for a kicker on any team, especially Washington. We just went and signed a kicker just recently, so I don't foresee the any teams really needing a kicker at this juncture.
Plus, I feel like his best days are past. Like I feel like the law of averages. He continues to kick. It's just gonna hurt. I mean, he almost should have given it up a couple of years ago when he had statistically the best ever, right? And I understand why these athletes keep on pushing it, but um, e- eventually Father Time is going to catch up to you, especially with things like kicking, where just muscle fatigue over years and years. And I just, the accuracy just wasn't there last year. So,
No, it wasn't. And yeah, I think that at this point, because of the fact that he has regressed over the last couple of years, and then having this, I don't foresee him finding another job in the NFL anytime soon.
to be
I'll be
fair, I mean,
surprised.
he had a heck of a long career for a kicker. I mean, it's just, uh, thank you, Tonya Tech and Show. Just wishing you a happy affiliate anniversary. Appreciate you for tuning in across the pond. That must be a crazy time in the morning. She's out in Europe. Good morning to you. I guess it'd be Daku Hatamitu, right? So, and my 'cause she's from Amsterdam, if I remember correctly. So, so with that, I think we can switch. Let us know what has happened and transpired on the latest episodes of SmackDown last week and Raw tonight, and as we start to get set for Backlash.
Well, SmackDown had a bit of a dark cloud over it because right before SmackDown got started, it was news that came out that was confirmed that several talents on the roster, both the main roster and NXT, were informed of their releases from WWE. With one of those actually being informed that their contract would not be renewed. It ended up after Saturday ended up being a grand total of 17 men and women were informed that they were going to be released from their contracts. And I have the list right here. We talked about it on our season premiere of the podcast this past weekend, which you can listen to right now on Spotify, Amazon Music, and on Apple Podcasts as well. It was Shayna Baszler, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, Dakota Kai, Braun Strowman, Shotzi. Those were the main roster releases. So, and because they were main roster talents, they are subjected to a 90-day non-compete clause, meaning that they cannot sign with another wrestling promotion or take an independent wrestling booking until August. So, but they are still going to get paid by WWE while they await that 90-day non-compete clause to expire. But they still can't work until until after August 1st of this year. Now, there are NXT talents that were let go, and these individuals are subjected to a 30-day non-compete, meaning that they can't compete, they can't take on independent bookings, or they can't sign with another promotion until after June 1st of this year. And it's Javier Bernal, the members of Gallus, which is Mark and Joe Coffey and Wolfgang, Gigi Dolan, Jakar Jackson, Cora Jade, Ora Mensa, Riley Osborne, Eddie Thorpe, and Danny Palmer. Now, some of the notable names of the people that were released are Shayna Baszler, who was a two-time NXT Women's Champion and a three-time Women's Tag Team Champion. Her NXT title reigns, her combined number of days as NXT Women's Champ currently sits at the top of the list for most combined days as NXT Women's Champion. She had a combined 548 days as NXT Women's Champion across two reigns, including her second reign as champion, which with 416 days, which still sits as the second longest reign of the NXT Women's Championship of all time. Caden Carter and Katana Chance, formerly KC Catanzaro, they leave as former tag team champions both in NXT and on the main roster. Dakota Kai also leaves as a former two-time women's tag team champion. Braun Strowman didn't win any titles in his second run. He was actually released back in 2021, but was brought back. No, 2022 he was released. It was either 21 or 22 he was released, but he was brought back, but didn't win any titles in his second run with the company.
I have to say I'm really surprised with Braun Strowman because I thought that he was looking super strong, but I just felt like I don't really know what happened there. I feel like he could have been such a great weapon. I think of like, why couldn't you have packaged him to be with, yeah, you could have like the Braun show, the Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman. I don't know. I just, I
I think the problem was that he couldn't stay healthy.
Okay.
In his second run, he couldn't stay healthy. He missed over a year because he had neck fusion surgery.
Right, I
and
remember
then
that
he
one.
had an injury after he had his last Monster Standing match with Bronson Reed earlier like last year.
Yeah.
And then he had a notable feud with Jacob Fatu earlier this year, but he just couldn't stay healthy, and I think that was the issue. And also, a lot of reports on the internet are saying that also his price tag was a bit high. And even though WWE is a profitable company, they want to cut costs wherever they can. I mean, trust me, I know. I think that's probably why I was just let go from my job, was cost cutting. But either way, you got to, some of these decisions are down to either performance or cost, and that's probably where this all lies. But a lot of people got let go just recently, and it's really sad. Now, as for SmackDown, I think basically it was a lot more of a follow-up and more of a build towards Cena versus Orton. Orton came out and cut a promo. Cena wasn't there, but Cena is expected to appear at this Friday's of SmackDown because it is the day before Backlash, so he's expected to appear. Raw more so was to continue on the story of this new alliance with Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker. Seth Rollins sent Paul Heyman out to kind of goad Jey Uso into defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins on Raw, which he did. And it looked like Seth was going to possibly become the new champion, but Sami Zayn got involved, and then CM Punk finally emerged after his loss at WrestleMania. It ended up turning out to be a no contest, but they got chased away. Jay is still the champion. Also, Rusev had his first match back since returning to WWE against Otis. Really pretty good matchup. Also, Roxanne Perez had a really fire matchup against the Women's World Champion, Io Sky. And that was a really fun matchup. And a lot happened on Raw. You definitely have to watch it to really know what happened on there. But really, really good episode of Raw. Really good episode of SmackDown. Decent episode of Raw, given that it was the go-home show for Backlash. And then, of course, SmackDown will be the final show before Backlash, which is this coming Saturday night, coming from St. Louis, Missouri. They set a new matchup for Backlash. What is the match that's happening? because I know it's going to be Logan Paul versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Lyra Valkyria is going to defend the Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. You're going to have the Intercontinental Championship is going to be defended now. Penta is going to face Dirty Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. You're going to have Walter taking on Pat McAfee. They had a face-to-face promo in the ring during Raw this week as well. So they really set in motion what's going to happen for Backlash this coming weekend. And I cannot wait for Backlash, and I cannot wait to do live reactions to Backlash. It's going to be this Saturday on our Twitch and our Facebook channel beginning at 6:55 Eastern time, and we're going to be talking about it all the way through. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, don't forget to check them out. Twitch.tv/TrueNoSpotsPod. And the link is in chat on Twitch right now. But yeah, some exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to breaking that down. And again, we've talked about it a little bit. No show next Monday. We are moving it to Tuesday. I'm not going to try to compete with Game 4 of the Caps. Be interesting to see if we get as wild a time. I did definitely book a lot of extra guests for that hockey segment because I knew that it was such a big show celebrating 4 years. And especially on Twitch, I wanted to include a lot of friends that I've met over the last 4 years on Twitch, including Ryan and Stewart as well. I actually mod for Ryan and I mod for Stewart's daughter, and Stewart is also known as the mod father. He mods for Jillian as well. So it was fun to be able to have them. And Adrian's also a Twitch streamer as well. So although I've known Adrian since high school, yeah. So and Champ here is a great streamer in his own right on Twitch. So I appreciate being able to integrate all those Twitch streamers to help celebrate these 4 years. It's crazy how fast 4 years has flown since 21 doing this. I remember my very first Twitch affiliate stream I did with our good friend Josh Turk, who I invited to come on the show, but I knew that tonight would be a crazy night with that Toronto game, so I don't blame him for skipping it. And we definitely surely got enough hockey people on, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with all these different series. I haven't really mentioned too much about the NBA. I just will quickly set the stage for that in the bracket. Cleveland and Indiana. Indiana won the first game against Cleveland, which is a shock to many. So the second game will be in Cleveland at 7 p.m. And then the Knicks won that game. Porzingis was out injured for the second half, so I'm interested to see if he can come back in this series and how that could change things. We do have this OKC Denver game right now. OKC is up 113-104 with 3:48 left. It looks like OKC will hold on to that, but Denver is a formidable foe. And then we got the Minnesota Golden State game, which is like the one that no one had. It's the 6 versus the 7 seed out here in the West. But when Minnesota took care of the Lakers, and you could tell the memes were pretty great with everyone saying Lakers in 5, especially because instead it was Minnesota in 5. And Golden State was such a weird situation where they came on so strong in the second half of the year, where even though they were the 7 seed, they were expected to beat Houston in a very exciting series, and that ended up being true. It did go 7 with Golden State having a 3-1 lead, but then losing the next 2 and forcing a game 7. But they were able to hold on and get that big victory there. So a lot of exciting matchups in the NBA. We'll definitely cover those a little bit more next week as well. And Tanya, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
Robbie, one other thing in wrestling that I forgot to mention, because I'm wearing my Bullet Club soccer jersey and whatnot, is that this past weekend, New Japan had its Wrestling Dontaku show in Fukuoka, and the main event of night 1 was a dog pound steel cage match between the two sub factions of Bullet Club, the War Dogs and House of Torture, with the loser leaving Bullet Club, and the War Dogs were able to defeat the House of Torture. So now the War Dogs are the lone Bullet Club representative in New Japan. Now the War Dogs were victorious after Gabe Kidd was able to hit his drill a hole power driver from the second rope through a table wrapped in barbed wire. The visual of it was freaking crazy. And they were able to be victorious. And then on the second night, the main event, Hiroki Goto was able to set a new record for successful defenses of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. He defeated Callum Newman in a thrilling matchup to retain, and now it's looking like he's going to be defending the championship against Zack Sabre Jr. this coming Friday over in California for their Resurgence pay-per-view. And then the winner of that matchup will go on to Dominion in June to defend against Shingo Takagi. And so the World Heavyweight Championship scene is pretty much set in terms of challengers. The only other thing that needs to be set in stone is who's going to challenge for the Junior Heavyweight Championship at Dominion, and that will be determined when Best of the Super Juniors 32 starts this coming Friday, on May the 9th. And myself and Sage will begin our coverage of that tournament this Thursday on Twitch and on Facebook, with the audio going up on Friday. And we'll be talking about the blocks, what block we're going to be in, who's in what block, and giving our predictions for the first week of matches and everything like that. So we have a Thursday stream on Facebook and on Twitch for the Best of the Super Juniors Rewind, and then our next podcast, which is the second episode of season 7 and our 284th episode overall. We're going to be streaming that live on Twitch on Saturday midday before Backlash, where we're going to be previewing Backlash and look at all of the two go home shows for Backlash on Raw and SmackDown, along with other wrestling going on this week. So make sure you're locked in and tapped in to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/True No Spots Pod. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/No Spots Pod for our watch along for Backlash as well. And we'll see you guys this weekend for all of that. Gokigenyo, sayonara.
Thank you so much, Champ. With that, we will end episode 373. Thank you all for tuning in to our Capitals and NHL playoff special. We talked about a lot of other sports as well. I appreciate all the people from tuning in and being a part of it. Jenaya was great. Gil was great. C4, the normal roundtable. Adding Ryan was wonderful. Adrian was great. Having Stewart in there as well. And then, of course, Champ being the bookend here was great. We're going to rate our friend Indubitably Brendan now, and he is a big time Caps fan. Actually was in chat earlier before he started doing his stream, so I thought I would share the love to a fellow Caps fan. And we will see you guys all next week again on a Tuesday, not on a Monday. So have a great rest of your week. Let's go Caps, and we'll see you soon.
KFC, UFC, BBC, Caps and 5. You're welcome.